You're listening to the Rebel podcast with Rory Carson. Tá sé bhgéisteach leis an fód cruúlaí Rebel le Rory McCarson.
The colours, Celtic in their world-famous green and white hoop shirt with no numbers on their back, only on their white shorts, into Milan in their black and blue striped shirt, black shorts.
Well, we wanted to the Lisbon sun out in thought they hadn't won it, but we showed the world how to play, and now it's known as the Celtic way. We played the ball from side to side, and tried to hide, but we play the ball from front to back. Attack, 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 attack at 67. In the youth of Lisbon, the fast game in the thousands, to see the boys become champions in 67. In the youth of Lisbon, the fast game in the thousands,
one goal each. Gemmell. Further. It's goal! Celtic has scored! I think Clover put it in, but it doesn't matter. And the whistle is going, and Celtic have won the European Cup. A fantastic victory by a great team.
In 67, in the heat of Lisbon, the fast game in the thousands, to see the boys become champions in 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fast game in the thousands, to see the boys become champions. Well, we walked into the Lisbon sun out into thought they hadn't won it, but we showed the world how to play, and now it's known as the Celtic way. We played the ball from side to side, out into they tried to hide, but we played the ball from front to back. Attack, 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 attack at 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fast game in the thousands, to see the boys become champions in 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fast game in the thousands, to see the boys become champions.
Well, folks, what's the crack? Guys, all doing? Welcome to another Rebel Sundays on the Rebel podcast. Slightly different today, obviously with a few changes midweek to the outputs we're going on. So right now, so the official Rebel podcast page on Facebook is no longer, it's gone, and all 20,000 followers of it is gone as well, for good. So I'll get into that later on, explain to you why it's gone and stuff, whatever. And so we're now we're still broadcasting live from Facebook, only instead I'm on my DJ Rebel Row page. So obviously I'm trying to build that up anyway. So hopefully this will sort of give an opportunity to get a few more people liking the page, because that there's going to be where the live output is for the Facebook page. We're also multi-streaming live from YouTube. I don't know what the crack with Twitter is today. I just got a message when I logged on there saying that there was an issue with going live from Twitter. So right now we're only broadcasting live from YouTube and from Facebook on the DJ Rebel Row page, folks. So if you're watching on Facebook, please share the stream for me. Vitally important that we share the stream today of all days, just so we can get this here out. I know we would normally have a lot more people watching probably on Facebook by now, but I think with our 20,000 followers is all gone so far. So what can you do? We'll just sort of try and build it up again. So welcome along, of course, if you're watching on YouTube on our main channel. Thank you very much. So that was the first song that I aired, folks, with Shay Doonan, with obviously Champion 67. Just more or less, I wanted to highlight the tifo from yesterday. Just so all I'm going to say is, like, well done to the Green Brigade, absolutely phenomenal. Like, to do a full stadium tifo like that there, and to get it just so well, they got it done. I mean, it just looked fabulous. I was watching, obviously, I was walking down Nancy's yesterday doing the game, and as soon as it came on, I was just like, wow. Just obviously couldn't have picked two better people to feature on as the two pitchers. And so I'll say fair play to the Green Brigade. Obviously, everybody donated as well towards the tifo, because I'm sure that there would have cost a lot of money to put that thing together. So well done to you as all. Right, so we'll jump into a few comments. So you will have watching in the day. Let's see. Neil Koskin, first up, how you doing, Neil? Good morning from New Windsor, upstate New York. Looking forward to another great show. Cheers, Neil. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Cheers for tuning in today, of course, from New York. Joseph McGoy, watching from Free Derry today. Hail, one and all. Marty Heaney is on. Good man, Marty. I hope you're feeling a bit better. You were a bit under the weather yesterday, as you were. Dan Breen, well, Henry, how you doing, mate? Good afternoon, all. Hail. Celine is in very, very early today. Cheers, missus. Yes, hail to the champions indeed. James, how you doing? James, what's the crack? Cheers for tuning in. So you found our Facebook page, good man. Henry is saying, Ange is one lucky man. Yes, Ange. He is lucky indeed, well, according to Michael Beale anyway. He's a lucky man. So fair play. It was a great speech from Ange just there. So it was, and of course he was going to get a wee dig in there. So folks, looking forward to having our guests on today. So what's what we're going to be doing? I'll just get on actually the picture if we can get it here, because I need to delete some ones from last week. Where are we? Right, so today's guests here. So we're going to have three guys on live on the screen, plus myself. So we'll have Tony Whitelaw, obviously also known as Irish Tony. He's based in Derry now, but he's over and busy in Scotland every weekend for the games. So he is from the Four Tims podcast. Keith Corcoran in the middle there. Keith's now based over in I'm not sure if it's Glasgow or Paisley, one of the based over in Scotland anyway. He's moved over from Dublin to sort of try and build his sort of podcast and his Come On the Hoops Celtic brand up. And Tony Coleman right at the end. What can we say about Tony? Tony is just a legend in West Belfast. Probably one of the most well-known Celtic supporters come from West Belfast, next to wee Duff. He's a Celtic historian. There's not much Tony does not know about our great club. So we'll have a lot of questions sort of lined out for all three guys. We'll be talking about everything from, obviously, from Ange coming on board, how this season went, how we're going to go on the Champions League this coming season. Is Ange going to go to Spurs? I can't see it happening, but here you never know what's going to happen. Like, Jesus. But I wouldn't sort of class Ange in the same bracket as Brendan Rodgers with using like. So I don't think he's going to do it. I think he wants another crack at the Champions League, so he does. Right, so we will get our couple of comments in a wee second. Let's see. I'll just get my ugly beak back on the screen. This is right at the top here somewhere. Yeah, folks, so it is. What time is it? 1:15. I was going to say it's 3:15 there. I just seen the 13. So yeah, we're going to have the guests live on screen at about 2 o'clock. So we'll play a few extra Celtic songs today. I know we normally play a couple of them, but obviously yesterday being such a brilliant win for the last game of the season, trophy day. So I was down Nancy's yesterday. Cheers to everybody. The bar was absolutely rammed. Got to play 5 goal celebrations songs yesterday, which was great. So it was. I know the last couple we've done, we haven't had much of a opportunity to get a few goal celebration songs on. Right, so a few more comments before the next song of the day. Let's see who else we'll have. Right, where are you? Joseph is saying, great speech yesterday after the game by Ange, was indeed. Hugh McKenna watching on the new Facebook page, good man, Hugh, cheers. Lane watching on Facebook as well. Derek Delaney watching on YouTube today, afternoon rolling the gang, happy Rebel Sunday. And the lucky winners indeed, definitely they are and lucky. There's this man here, folks, Kieran Dowling. How you doing, Kieran? From Argyll Rebel Music over in Scotland. So Kieran is going to be our next guest, folks, on Sunday the 10th of June. So I haven't actually had time to sort of flare it for this one, so I only sorted it out with him last night. So yeah, Kieran's going to be on with us on Sunday the 10th of June. That's our next show after today. So we'll get that advertised well in advance. So be lucky. Sorry, good to see you on the show in a couple of weeks' time, Kieran. Cheers, mate. Paul Walsh watching on YouTube today from County Cork, the Rebel County. Let's see, greetings from Rebel County. Let's hope Cork beat Limerick today. I don't know, mate. I think this is going to be Limerick's year again, so it is. I don't know. Paul S. Cheers, Row, making our journey from Bundoran to Crossbarry go faster. Yes, Bundoran to County Cork. That is a long old journey, so it is. Martin Higgins. How you doing, Marty? What's the crack? Best luck on the new setup, bro. Cheers, Martin. Cheers for tuning in today from sunny Santa Ponsa. Terry Craney watching today over in Scotland as well. Afternoon all from sunny Glasgow. I seen you yesterday with the big cup misses, so did on Facebook. Happy days. Jim McCaff, how you doing, Jim? Afternoon, folks. Hail, hail. Right, so first song we're going to do today. First proper song of the day. I haven't actually done this one in a while. It's one of the songs of our Rebs for Hope album. It's from Sean McCafferty. Obviously, it was written by Dana Barrett. Brilliant song called Joseph Mary, and it's a bit of a sort of love song, so it is. Obviously, you know what it's about, but the reason why I play it for folks is for this here today. So we'll have two people celebrating their wedding anniversary today. These two lovebirds here, James and Debbie. So big happy wedding anniversary this afternoon, Debbie and James. So we're going to do this one for you, and we'll keep this on the screen just to embarrass you even more. You know what I mean? Like, so this is first tune of the day. This is Sean McCafferty with this beautiful song, Joseph Mary, folks, on Rebel Sunday. So big congrats, Debbie and James, on your wedding anniversary.
Upon me, you gaze into my eyes. Pain, it moves in slowly, for you've a greater love than I. I'll forgive you for your first love, for Ireland is so deep. And I know for you to save her, you must leave me here. My heart is breaking, Joseph, as I hear the seagulls play. No longer you'll be with me after all of this today. I know I'll never love again. My heart is far too sore, and I know that you'll stay with me until we meet once more. 1,000 times I've pictured our wedding in my head, with all our comrades gathered, but your fate is set instead. These memories of Kilmainham will stay with me now. This fight for Irish freedom has led us to our vows. Our love lies in the future of Ireland bright and free. We took the call together to gain our liberty. But until then, dear Joseph, sleep where the Grammachrie. And when I finally join you, we'll have eternity. 1,000 times I've pictured our wedding in my head, with all our comrades gathered, but your fate is set instead. These memories of Kilmainham will stay with me now. This fight for Irish freedom has led us to our vows. This fight for Irish freedom has led us to our vows.
folks, that is the brilliant Joseph Mary from Sean McCafferty. Cracking song. So again, big congrats to Debbie and James on your wedding anniversary this afternoon. The lovely wee picture of the two of there, so it is. Right, so back to the main screen. Where are we? Let's see, get my ugly bake on here. I'll need to delete a few of these here graphics that are before this one, so I can barely find it. Yeah, folks, you're listening to Rebel Sundays on the Rebel podcast. You're very, very welcome. And myself, Big Ro, right through till 4 o'clock this afternoon. So our special guest today is a bit different. We'll have 3 guests on. We'll be live on the screen at 2 o'clock. It's going to be all Celtic related. Obviously, we'll play a few more Celtic songs maybe before and after the interview. So we'll have Tony Whitelaw from the Four Tims podcast, Keith Corcoran from the Come On the Hoops Celtic Outlet Media page, and of course we'll have Tony Coleman, just genuine Celtic supporting legend here in West Belfast. So it'll be great to get all the input from all the plus. If there's any questions, folks, you want to ask, just fire them into the comment section, please, and we will get them answered. So right, let's see who else. I think everybody's just congratulating James and Debbie on their anniversary today. So they are. So yep, big congrats to the two of yous. Right, so folks, if there's any tunes you want to hear today, let me know. We'll get them on. Say we're right through to 4 o'clock, so plenty of time. So listen, it was last night. I was down in would have been down, maybe up. Down in Cross McGlen there for the night in memory of our dear friend Jamie, who was the bass player for Finnan Rebel Band. So I have to say it was really, really emotional night. Actually, really big crowd showed up for Jamie. So this is the first picture here before we're done the raffle and stuff. So that's there's John there, John Rush from who organised the whole night from Finnan. It was basically the lads their first time playing together. Since Jamie passed. I hadn't really played as a band since I think it was Easter Saturday last year. I was actually playing that gig as well at night in the Crosscrow Hotel in Cross McGlen Fulham. And obviously John got a wee bit emotional last night talking about Jamie, which you would, you know what I mean? So it was very hard for him to go up on stage and just basically talk about his friend. So I got a couple of videos of the night. So on the night playing, obviously I was doing a few tunes before and afterwards, after the gig. Then we had 3 bands playing. So up first was the Coolies. So it was great to finally meet Dylan and Barry. So it was from the Coolies. So they were on first here. So I just done a couple of short clips of each band.
So friends are coming. Did you fail? One more, sing with us. Farewell to the land. Like points down the door, and the green hills of Derry, that I dearly know.
So that was the Coolies here. So here we go. This is the one from Stefan. Brilliant set. Stefan did very, very well. That's obviously more than sort of takes up a wee bit before the rest of the lads. What we're doing before I was as well. So yep, I actually
in the year 71,
so it was Stefan there, so it was. So I picked Stefan up beforehand for the gig. Busy, stupid 2 of us bringing 2 cars. And obviously picked him up literally on the way home. I thought I was a lightweight, so I did. But literally, he had like 2.5 pints of Guinness. So he did. And we had to pull into Fork Hill on the way home. And literally, Stefan was just bulking his ring up all over the road. So he was in me happy days. So I thought I was bad. Like, and so at the end of the night, these lads here, so say Finnan, the first gig.
Are you all ready? You ready? Here comes Radios fighting hands, but nothing right. All singing strong. All the bravest band, nothing's fighting you for us. The young men from Rockland Glen, among the bravest fighting there is strong.
Yeah, so that was the lads in Finland playing there. They sort of finished the night off, and it was their first gig playing together since Jamie passed. I think the guy playing the accordion, he used to play with Finland years ago, and I think obviously work commitments and also took him out of the band. He was playing there last night, especially for Jamie, and then there's a new guy playing. I didn't get his name. Was playing on bass last night. Obviously, their bass player was, of course, Jamie. So, sure, it would have been hard for him to step in. But listen, cheers to John and Clint, all the rest of the guys for inviting me to Cross McGlen for the gig last night in memory of Jamie. Really, really much appreciated. So, cheers for bringing me doing the gig, plus Stefan as well. Two of us, a good crack on the way home, the fan. So we did. Right, so folks, any more requests you want, get them in and we'll get them on. Say about another half an hour, or sorry, 20 minutes, half an hour, we're going to have our guests on the show today. We're going to be just discussing all things Celtic. So really looking forward to this one. So next song we're going to play, go do a bit of Gary Oak or slash Oak. This is from obviously the legendary Live at the Brazen Head CD. The reason why I play this song is because I don't know if any of you have seen, if you have a BBC iPlayer, check out this documentary. It's like a 5-part documentary, folks, called, and I hate to say these two words, but Once Upon a Time in Northern Ireland. But it's been very, very well put together, I have to say. I think I'm on the 3rd episode now watching it. It starts off in like the 60s. There's probably a few bits that have maybe missed out, don't know if it's purposely or whatever, but then it goes on to Bloody Sunday. And then obviously a few other atrocities that sort of happened. I think it ends up with like the Shankill bomb, the last one is. But I've been sort of watching them on my break and work. And really, really well put together. Some really heartbreaking interviews to watch. So I think especially the Bloody Sunday one was very hard to do. So we're going to play Oak's version of Bloody Sunday. Again, probably one of the best versions of a song I've heard live from that album. It's so old now, but it's still like such an iconic album. So this is Oak, folks, with Sunday, Bloody Sunday on Rebel Sundays.
This next song we're going to do is dedicated to 14 innocent civilians whose lives were cruelly taken away from them from the Royal Paratroop Regiment on Bloody Sunday. A song called Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
Sunday, bloody Sunday, when they shot the people there. The cry of 14 martyrs filled the free air. Is there anyone amongst you that's to blame it on the kids? That a soldier boy was bleeding when they nailed the coffin lids. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. Well, you claim to be a majority, well, you know that's a lie. You're really a minority on the sweet Emerald Isle. When storming panzer marches, they've got a lot to learn. Internment is no answer, it's those mothers turn to burn. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. Well, you Anglo-Pigs and Scotties sent to colonise the north, you wave your fucking Union Jack, well, you know what it's worth. How dare you hold to ransom our people proud and free? Leave Ireland for the Irish, turn the British back to sea. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. Oh, and it's always bloody Sunday in the concentration camps. Keep the falsehood free from ever from those bloody English hands. Repatriates of Britain, all the who call it home. Leave Ireland for the Irish, not for London or for Rome. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. Sunday, bloody Sunday, bloody Sunday's the day. bloody Sunday's the day.
There we go, folks.
Thanks very much, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. That's Earl Gar, folks, with Sunday, Bloody Sunday, on the Rebel Sundays here on the Rebel podcast. So just so you can see that we've had up the graphics on the screen there for the big fans gathering this year. It's taking place on Saturday, the 2nd of December at Sarsfield's GAC here in West Belfast, folks. So tickets are still going really well. We're well over near the half of the sales now, so it's going to be a great night. So it is. So on the night headline is going to be the lads from Clover. From I almost said County Cork there, so sorry, Peter, Tag, Paul, if you're watching, my apologies. But I know Paul's a wee bit closer to Cork than the rest of them next week. It definitely has a bit of a Cork Langer accent on him, so he does. And then, of course, Shay Doolan, the most wanted man on the Rebel music scene at the minute. Delighted to have him here this week for that weekend. Shay's going to and then open up the show. Kev O'D, of course, our lockdown hero. Kev was one of the most sort of popular singers that was on during the lockdown shows when we were all stuck in the house doing nothing. He was on every single week. So, Kev is going to be opening up. And obviously I'll be there as well, doing a few tunes maybe before and after the gig for you. So folks, tickets are £15. You can buy them from www.rebelpodcast.bigcartel.com. So hopefully see a few more of you there. Anybody there's a few people ordered tickets during the week, don't worry, they will be sent out on Tuesday. Because obviously the Mars Bank holiday, so I'm not sure the post office are open or not. So I'll definitely, whenever I'm going to work on Tuesday, I'll get them posted out. So and not forgetting our after party the next day. So if any of you are still hanging about, folks, a lot of people are flying over for the weekend. So the after party the next day as well is in Sarsfields on Sunday, the 3rd of December. That's our official after party, and we'll be on a live podcast from 1 to 5. So that's featuring Kev O'D. It's going to be staying around West Belfast for the day as well. So and then Kieran Mack, obviously local Rebel singer here from the West. Kieran's will be playing a few tunes, and obviously I'll be doing the podcast as well. This is all free admission, folks. So hopefully anybody that's over for the weekend for the gig, you'll stop off and we'll go down and have a good crack as well on the Sunday afternoon in the Sarsfields before we probably all end up down the Rock afterwards, and I can be sick all of my shoes again when Kieran probably starts the rounds of shots. So he will. So really looking forward to that, this year's big fans gathering, folks. Right, where are we? This is what time we on? 13:33. So again, folks, don't forget we're going to have our live guests on at 2 o'clock today. Right, what else do I have? Graham Keaton's watching today on Facebook. Good man, Graham. How you doing, mucker? The Chancers, how you doing, lads? The Langer accent, indeed. You know what I mean? Harry T, how you doing? Harry, keep watching on YouTube. Bro, can you play Looking Down on the Rangers song, please, by Tony Boy Ray? Top of the league. I mean, the top of the league, looking down the Rangers. Yes, look that on there on, so well, not a problem. I think Anne-Marie there is just tagging every single person on her Facebook. So she is. Dan Breen, he's looking for, could you play Hills Dunloy by Chris O'Bra? I'm not sure, do I have that there? I actually never heard that version of that there, Henry, so I'll look into it and see if I can get it made for you. So I will, but I don't think I've heard that one. Derek is looking forward to it. Of course you are. She's getting put up in the Europa Hotel. See, it's the swankiest hotel. Well, it's actually not now. I used to deliver the beer to the Europa, and it's a bit of a kip, like. So it is. And I always said, don't be banning drinking it, because I get charged £7. Yes, folks, £7 for a pint of Tennent's. Like, I think a pint of piss would taste a lot more refreshing than a pint of Tennent's, and they charge you £7 for it in the Europa Hotel. So there's, yes, Marty, don't forget to have that on there. So well, right. So folks, I know there's a few of you obviously all wondering why the official sort of podcast page on Facebook is down. So it is. So and there's a few people that are probably in snooping and stuff that they want to know what's he going to say about this here. So so we haven't done one of these in a while. So we'll get this on now. So we bit of fair warning. So just so hold your ears, folks, because it's coming. I think this here definitely warrants one of these. So here we go. Is that loud enough for you? Yeah, but definitely this year what we'll have come up definitely warrants that out, buddy. So you might have seen it posted on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook during the week. So my official Rebel podcast page that had basically 20,000 followers on it. It took me obviously from like 2018 to build the page up. So it did. Is gone and it's not coming back, so it isn't. And I suppose it was on its last legs for a long time. So it was, obviously I was constantly getting warnings from Facebook for the content that I was putting out. People were always complaining. You had a few sort of jam buns on coming in and sort of giving me complaints about, and they were complaining to Facebook, that music is sectarian, that music he's playing is this and that post he put up is this and that, and I'm offended by it, blah 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 blah. So I was, obviously the page was suspended a few times, it was restricted a few times, and obviously, so I put a post up on, I think it was Tuesday, so it was. Now, all I will say is it was a very, very, for me, in my opinion, it was a very, very, very valid post, so it was. And if I had any doubts that it was maybe it wasn't a valid post, or maybe shouldn't have put it up, it was maybe a bit controversial. Now, a lot of you would have seen it, and obviously a lot of you are now probably go, what's he on about? We didn't see the post. The page is down now, so we can't see the post. But literally within 5 minutes of me putting that post on Facebook, my sort of inbox just went bang. The amount of people that are like current Rebel singers are on the scene, bar owners are on the scene, I know, from basically Scotland, from here in Ireland, even some people in Spain and stuff are saying, Ro, listen, see that post there you put up? Literally probably the best thing I've heard written, or sorry, I've seen written on Facebook in a way. It's so truthful, but the problem is I can't really comment on it, I can't really share it, I can't like it, because I'd be seen to be being bitchy or taking one side or another or whatever, or I might sort of be booking a few of these maybe bands that you may have been talking about. I can't be seen, so but listen mate, I know what you're talking about here and it's not sort of right, but fair play to you. And I thought, right, okay, well obviously a lot of people are sort of taking this sort of say, but then as the post went on, I think a few people maybe misunderstood what the post was sort of what the post was about, and there was a few wee sort of fly sort of digs went in, and sort of then it just sort of got nastier and nastier. A few people sort of started circling the wagons, jumping on the bandwagon, and sort of obviously because it got shared something like 380 times. So obviously it was a very popular post. So the more it was getting shared, more people commenting, going like, "What do you know? Like you aren't even a singer, so what gives you the right to even to say this here or that there and think you know what you're talking about?" So I think, folks, I'm in a sort of position now, doing what I do in this here, through sort of no maybe at sort of fault of my own. Obviously, I've sort of been pushing to do this here, to be involved in the rebel music scene. I'm sort of right involved in it, right in the middle of it. I'm sort of privy to a lot of sort of things of what goes on, bands, I mean, who's in what bands, who's booked and whatever and stuff, and sort of know what I think I do have a fair idea of what's going on in the scene. They say I have my finger on the pulse of it. So for me, I thought, well, I'm in a perfect position to put this post up, the one I put up. So let's just say it was a wee bit controversial at but this here status I'm going to put up here now. So somebody shared this here, right? So I've blocked out the guy's name and his picture, so no one knows who it is, because I wouldn't do that there, right? But I just want to show there's so many inaccuracies in this here. So hopefully you can see this when I put it on the screen. So I have it in front of me as well, right? Because I've screenshotted it. So hopefully you can see here what it says on it, right? So obviously the post at the bottom, he shared the post, right? So ladies and gentlemen, here we have the definition of irony, right? This is DJ Rowe. So firstly, that's the first thing I was very annoyed about, because obviously DJ Rowe is my sort of DJ name for when I do weddings and parties and all that. Nothing to do with like my Rebel stuff or the Rebel podcast or anything I do. That's basically my sort of like business, if you get me. So there was no need for this guy, or should I say this person, to put my name there. So that was sort of annoyed me at the start, right? So he's basically said, this man has set about running down genuine artists because he wants a bigger slice of the pie. What that even means, I have absolutely no idea. Like what running down genuine artists because I want a bigger slice of the pie. I mean, worst part is he is doing it under the gaze of supporting other people. So it wasn't under the gaze of anybody. So it was basically, the post was put out, and anyone who did see it will know exactly what way it's led. It was a paragraph, so that's another, like, I was sort of scratching my head going, like, what are you talking about there, like? So I commented under his status, and rather than reply and defend himself, he deleted the message. Well, basically, the reason I didn't sort of defend myself, because I didn't reply to any of the comments on the thing, was firstly because I know the guy sort of has maybe a bit of umbrage against me or against my show, right? So I said, well, what's the point of me replying to this here when he's going to have a sort of already, he knows what he's going to say, so no matter what I say, he's going to have a comeback. And I sort of since found out after a PM the guy, and he said, listen, mate, I have never ever watched your show, right? So, like, he's basically saying he's never ever watched the show, right? So he hasn't. So how can he comment and say he does this and that there? He's never watched the show, so he does it. So he's basically saying, it's because like everyone else with an inflated ego. Yes, I may have a bit of an ego, maybe, right? But they're doing this here, folks. When you're putting yourself out on social media, as I do, right? You have to obviously sort of take the flack whenever you want to put it out, right? But there's a lot of times when you're sort of trying to help people out genuinely, and you're just getting basically kicked from all ends. That's been orchestrated. It sort of isn't on. Do you know what I mean? So this is basically what he says I do on the show here on a Sunday. So actually all illusions that watch the show every week will know this is far from what I do, right? He literally pushes a button and plays music that genuine artists have created, right? He has the cheek to call out bars for hiring and making a living from doing no actual work of his own. So basically, like, if anyone is taking money out of the old timers' pockets, it's him. Why hire a singer when you can hire a DJ? So basically, what he thinks I'm doing here is putting that post out because I don't want Rebel singers to get gigs. I don't want bands to get gigs. I want to take all of it for myself, which is bullshit. I mean, folks, if there's anybody out there, right, let's give anybody in the Rebel scene an opportunity. It's been me, right, on this show. There's people that I should need and have had near this show, right? But I got them on to give them and say, well, there's a chance to explain yourself and put yourself out there to people that are maybe going to buy your CD or download your music or go to your gigs. Let them know who you are, what you're about. You know what I mean? That's what this show is all about. It's all about why I get the guests on to do. I mean, I don't just get guests on for the sake of getting guests on. I get them on to tell the stories of them. So basically everything this guy has just read here is complete and utter. It's bullshit. So it is, as you can see what's there. Like, but I had to share that there just so that you can see. Right, so basically then since that there, right, that night, so my page is now gone, right? So it won't be coming back. So obviously I've done a lot of sort of thinking and sort of say Wednesday for me was a really, really rough day. So it was. Obviously I spoke to a few people, a lot of people reached out to me through Facebook and sent me WhatsApps and stuff, and I'll admit it, I wasn't in a great place, so it wasn't. Obviously sort of took what happened on Tuesday pretty badly, and sort of was they don't making a few decisions and wanting to do other things, and I sort of then obviously after talking to people, I sort of have a pathway now. What is going to be happening, right? So I know a lot of you might like this and sort of might go, no, don't be doing this here, and you said you're going to do this before and all stuff, whatever. But so, folks, the decision that's been made, and this is it, it's final, right? So obviously this year's big fans gathering that's happening in December, on the 2nd of December, it is going to be the last one, right? So there's not going to be another big fans gathering, right? So come the week after the Rebel Sundays live show, the Rebel podcast, Rebel Sundays as we know it, it's going to be no more. That the following Sunday after the big fans gathering is going to be the last ever Rebel Sundays live podcast, folks. So I think this year that's going to be it. So December this year, I think for me the show has run its course, right? It's done what it needed to do. If you get me. Obviously it was only meant to be during lockdown to keep people in the house and sort of keep them entertained and just sort of keep people's heads from exploding. It done that there, and obviously it just grew legs and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And since that, we released the charity album for the 2 suicide awareness charities, made a lot of money for them, done all sorts of things, highlighted different causes in the show and all, folks. But for me, it's this show has took up a massive part of my life for the last. The podcast has been going about 5 years now, but for the last 3 years, this show has been my life. People may think, he just does, comes in on a Sunday, sits down here, 5 to 1, goes boom. Not a chance, folks. I've had, I don't many rows, obviously my wife Laura, and like sort of the house were like, you're obsessed with that bloody show and all this and that, and like other stuff needs to come first, and blah, which is understandable, but when you want to do something, folks, put your heart and soul into something, it takes a lot of time to do. And obviously it takes up my nearly whole week planning for the show and organising guests, organising interviews and the music and stuff, whatever. And I think for me it's took up enough of my time, so it has. So come the end of December, folks, so the last week after the big fans gathering, it is going to be the very, 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 very last Rebel Sundays podcast. I'm sure a lot of you are going, for God's sake, don't be doing it. But I've took a lot of time this week to sort of come to that conclusion, and that's what it's going to be, folks. So I want to say thank you to all. Everyone's busy that's tuned in from this and made this show what it is. You know what I mean? I'm still going to be doing the Rebel Road DJ gigs, because obviously that is like maybe an extension now from this show, which is maybe what I want to get in the first place. More sort of gigs playing the music that I love, out in bars, and obviously the rock bars getting me gigs, Nancy Mulligan's getting me gigs. These places on the road I wanted to play in, and I wouldn't have the opportunity to do them without doing this show. So folks, that's the big news then. So the official Facebook page is gone, right? So say the end of the year, the big fans gathering is going to be the last one, definitely the very, very last one, and the show the week after that there is going to be the very, very last ever Rebel podcast live Sunday show. I think just being involved in this sort of scene for so long now, folks, it's not hard to sort of get frustrated a lot with what sort of goes on, you know what I mean, in the scene, and you see what happens, and you see just, it's a lot of times when you get involved in things you mightn't want to get involved in, you're dragged into things, and I've never seen a more sort of bitchy, backstabbing sort of, like, what's the word for it? I mean, sort of, it's not an organisation, but just sort of a whole scene in my life, and it's crazy to think that this here goes on when you think a lot of all these bands be getting on with each other. I mean, everybody thinks everything's all rosy in the garden, and it's not. And it is very, very stressful to deal with, and sort of when you're involved in it. So for me, folks, I think I've done my time in it, so I have, and I've served my time, and I think that it's time. Somebody else wants to do this, then fair play and take it on. But as far as I'm concerned, folks, so Rebel Sundays is gone at the end of the year. So we'll still have plenty of shows left. So we'll have, obviously 2 a month right through till the end of December. So I haven't looked at any of these comments yet. So I haven't. But we're going to play here one more song. Then hopefully after this here next song, we will have the first of the our guest song. We'll get them on. Right. So let's see, 2 seconds. What are we going to do? So I haven't got a bloody song lined up. So what we'll do is we'll play another song from so I think Henry was looking for a song from Aaron Brass. So we'll do this here one, because actually I was looking for it and can't find him doing the Hills Done Loy. So we'll do the Dan Rebel. This is from Chris's album recorded live in Potter Brown. So we'll do this here, and then hopefully, and then after this we'll have all the guests on screen, folks, ready to go for our today's chat about our whole big Celtic scene. So here we go.
So the song called The Dying Rebel, or My Only Son. It's dedicated to all the men and women of 1969. Night was dark, and the fight had ended, and the men shone down O'Connell Street. I still go where brave men perish, those men have gone, they're gone to me. My only son was shot and done, fighting for his country born, and he fought for Ireland, and for Ireland only, with a heart and shamrock, green, whites and gold. First I met was a grey-haired father, searching for his only son. Well, I said, oh man, there's no use searching, for up to heaven I knew my son, he was too kind-hearted. And I knew my son, he would never leave. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country home. And he fought for Ireland, and for Ireland only, with a heart and shamrock, green, white and gold. And the last that I met was a dying rebel, kneeling low. I heard him say, God bless my home in dear Corksey, and the volunteers of the IRA. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country home. And he fought for Ireland, and for Ireland only, with a heart and shamrock, green, white and gold.
Well, folks, that is Chris Cornier for you with Dan Rebel. Right, lads, can you all hear me loud and clear?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, brand new.
Here, Ro.
Right, so hopefully if you can all not sort of talk at the same time, it'll just sound absolutely mad, ridiculous. So over to my right here, we'll have Keith Corcoran sporting his new definitely Space Boy haircut, I have to say, so it is looking.
The Morella circle.
Down below me, from just down the street here, the legend Tony Coleman. How you doing, Tony? From his Celtic museum / shed in the house there. And then beside him, Tony Whitelaw, who's probably feeling a bit rough for wear the day, so he is.
You could probably fucking tell looking at me, but yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll
Right,
get
folks.
to why I'm rough.
Welcome along. Cheers, lads, for coming on. I'd say it's great to have all four of you on at once. We can do this here. So what we're going to do, we're obviously going to talk about just a lot of things in general, about the whole, since Ange came in, about the forthcoming Champions League campaign, about yesterday, about next week, the cup final, a few other things. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start off with Big Ange. Right? Obviously, the last time we've done something like this here, Lenny was still in charge. Obviously, we had Tony Coleman talking about him, had Tony Whitelaw as well. So we're going to start off with Tony Whitelaw saying, I know like, you really took it bad when Lenny had to leave the club. So we're sort of...
I'm still celebrating it.
Oh, you're still celebrating it, right? So obviously, I think you are obviously the most maybe a bit connected to Ange, as we say, because you're one of the regular sort of contributors to the fans' questions and answers at the media conference and stuff. I know you've met him a lot of times. Your sort of social media's full of selfies with Ange every other week, so it is like. So tell us firstly, so how have you sort of found like speaking to him from he came in to the club? How is he actually? Because I really enjoy watching these press conferences, because like from day one he's just took no shit from these journalists. Like they've sort of tried to dig in and sort of get him to get wee sound bites, and he just has none of it. Like, but I think for me the best sort of questions are always from the fan media, because you can tell he'll always sort of give better in-depth answers. Do you know what I mean? So Tony Whitelaw, go ahead, you first.
I think you're right. I think he enjoys talking to the fans, and I think he appreciates that. I'm not there to catch him out or grab a story. I'm just there to ask questions that I think fans want to know the answer to. I first met him, I didn't meet him, we didn't get a selfie or anything, but obviously when it was announced, we were invited to his unveiling. That was through Dominic Mackay, who obviously wasn't at the club very long, but we got to ask a question to each of them. And I remember listening to him and thinking, Jesus, there's something about this guy, because I think everybody wanted Eddie Howe at the time, and a lot of people knew about. And since then, I've probably maybe been in a bit 6 or 7 of the YouTube conferences, and I've met him maybe 4 times at the post-match conferences. He's always been very, very pleasant. There's definitely an aura about him. He always gives really good answers. You can tell he's quite. I think he does enjoy talking to the fans, as he says. I've seen him give a couple of scoldings to the media folk, and the media in Scotland, as you know, is absolutely fucking dreadful. They're terrible, just really stupid stories. They ask really ridiculous questions. So it's good that fans can come in, and I watch all his press conferences. I think all the other kind of podcasts or fan media, if people call it, have been excellent when they've spoke to him, and he's been very receptive. I know they had a fan media kind of access to the players after the game yesterday that we were invited to. I was too drunk, so somebody else went. So, but no, he's been great. He signed a top for me. I went into one of his press conferences with a jersey and a pen. I got him outside and I said, "Well, I'm sorry, mate, but would you sign a top to me?" And he wrote to Anthony Ange Postecoglou and then put "We never stop."
Brilliant.
So it was great. As you say, whenever I can get a selfie with him, I definitely do. So,
of course,
I've loved him. I think he's been a fantastic manager. I can't believe we're going for a treble. If you'd have told me that 2 years ago when your pal Lennon was the manager, I would have had you locked up. But I think guy came in for Japan, nobody knew him, didn't bring any coaching staff, to then win 2 league titles pretty comfortably. I think last year we were behind, but once we get in front, we just kicked on. I think in Europe this year we were unlucky. We didn't take our chances, and hopefully next week we can beat Inverness, which I think we will do. I think yesterday he seen us at our best getting into a cup final, and I think he said in Friday's press conference Saturday wants to be the performance of the season. So I think the players love him, the fans love him, and hopefully he's still here next season.
Hopefully. Also, obviously, Keith, you have moved over to Scotland this year to sort of, obviously, you've changed your job and you've to sort of try and further your podcast as well on the Come On Hoops Celtic. So what have you sort of made of Ange from he came in?
A very surprising figure. Obviously, the Australian media bigged them up, the Japanese media bigged them up. I was one of them people. Eddie Howe, very disappointing with the club, the way that we went to the last minute to get it. Even with the season ticket renewals at the time, I just felt like there was no clarity with the club. There was no communication, especially where you were saying the fan media and stuff. But when he came in, obviously the shuffle he had to do, get rid of the likes of Oyer, Edward, Christie, the Deadwood, even addressing the goalkeeping situation. Joe Hart was at Spurs. Obviously he wasn't wanted at Spurs, took a pay cut, came for 15 grand, look at the clean sheets and that tally. He bring leadership as well at the back. He sorted out the back centre back position as well. Look at Julian, never got sniffed, but obviously he didn't suit Ange Ball, and was obviously stuff going on behind the scenes, bringing the likes of Starfelt in. I knew he threw Starfelt in on the first game against Hearts. It didn't suit him and stuff like that because he was only the 3 fresh in the door. But Carter Vickers in, made that permanent. You could see that it's a long-term plan with Ange, and he's putting the reins in place for whoever does come in the future. If it's a season or the season after, we kind of want to have that level where we're moving up as a club, not taking 2 steps back. And what he's inherited and the philosophy of football we've got big time. Look, we're on the verge of doing a 5th treble in 7 years. You don't see that with other football clubs or other leagues in the world. And you just seen the scenes yesterday in Glasgow. It's just remarkable. It's a exciting time being a Celtic fan. And, you go back to the 90s where we were winning a lot of success. And now we're the dominant side. And if we can get to another level and take a crack at the Champions League next season and get into the last 16, that's the most you can ask. Because I was thinking about it this morning, Rob. If you win a treble and you get to the last 16 of the Champions League, where else can you go? What's the highest peak can you go? Everybody was saying he kicks on his 2nd season, and he had. Look at 113 goals we scored in the league. And obviously, we had a crack in the Champions League. It was a learning point. We had a couple of good games. We were unlucky. All the chances that we had, I think we had altogether 64 chances on goal. We converted 5 of them. So I'm excited about him. I don't think he's going to leave. I really don't believe he's going to leave.
Well, we'll get into that there further on. So, obviously, Tony as well. I know we sort of joked about Neil Lennon and stuff, but you obviously have your own sort of grievances against him, and you've spoken out heavily against Lenny. Like, sort of, me and you have had a lot of heated debates over it. So obviously, whenever Ange came in, like, for a lot of people, like, nobody knew who he was. I mean, everybody was all checking out all these here, like the YouTube videos and about from Australia and where he's been and stuff. So what like, you're a regular visitor to Celtic Park, so you are. So what has your thoughts been on him from he came in?
It's been absolutely amazing, Ro. When he came in, not a lot of people knew about him. All the Japanese and Australian didn't have much sort of in the football scene. But when he walked in, what a breath of fresh air he became within weeks. He had sort of got the team, knew what his strengths, his weaknesses was, and within a couple of weeks, you know what I mean? The first couple of weeks were all dodgy, a couple of losses.
Yeah.
He just hit the ground running, and he's an absolute gentleman facing sort of the fans, but with the press, he's absolutely brilliant. It's what we want to see. We want to see someone who's going to take on the press and give them hell, because they're constantly destabilising Celtic. They're trying to stabilise him. But Ange is big enough. He's big shoulders for it. He's immense. He's an immense character. And we're absolutely blessed to have him at Celtic.
Of course,
Such a great person.
So we'll stay with you, Tony, for the next one. So obviously last year's domestic sort of campaign, obviously massive success his first season, winning 2 trophies. But obviously the first sort of European campaign, like, basically getting put out all sort of 3 competitions. And obviously a lot of some of the results were maybe a wee bit embarrassing. Like, so once again, we're going straight into the Champions League group stages this year. So what's your sort of thoughts, Tony Coleman, on like what way this should be approached going into the Champions League? Like,
well, he's going to have to strengthen, because we can see it last year. We've seen glimpses of what we can do in Europe, but we need strength and depth. I don't want to go out spending stupid money on £20 million in players, but probably you need to do that in the Champions League. But when you can turn up gems like Carter Vickers for £6 million for a club, that's what we need to be doing. You know, we definitely need to strengthen. You know, you can see coming towards the end of the season or the last couple of games, our players get tired. You know, you can see it in them. But to say, there was O'Neill had like a league team and a Champions League team. He could mix up between the two. Maybe, hopefully, a wee bit of advice of Ange and Martin having a nice wee word yesterday could maybe, hopefully, get a few signings in and a wee bit of Martin O'Neill thinking in Europe, because we were immense under O'Neill, and hopefully a wee bit of experience rubs off on Ange and hard to take on the Champions League here next season.
So, Keith, what's your thoughts on the forthcoming Champions League campaign then?
Nervous but excited. I think we do definitely need to strengthen. It's hard to say, like, do we bring a player in that has Champions League experience that's maybe not getting first team football? You know, like, you're looking at, like, it is a 20 to 30 million gem. You have to go in and strengthen your team and keep these players around long term as well. Perhaps a new keeper. I know, like, a lot of people are on the fence with Joe Hart. I think a new
Don't
keeper.
worry, Vargas is coming back.
He's doing all right. You're correct. He's been in team of the week a couple of times in the Eredivisie, but no chance I'd put him in instead of Joe Hart. But definitely need to strengthen. I think we need another striker for the Champions League.
See, actually, I mean, on the sort of striking front, do you think it's basically like just Kyogo isn't sort of strong enough for it? He's too small, or what? Or, I mean, he just gets bullied out of that, or what? I mean, you're going to these sort of bigger competitions, or?
I think he's like, I think looking at the Europa League, when we had the Europa League stage last year, I think he was quite good in the Europa League. In the Champions League, he just didn't look like he was at it. Maeda looks like the stage was too much for him at times as well. But it's a learning curve for him, because what you learn towards the end of the campaign, that you start getting into it. Yakimak is like, it'd be interesting to see what O does in the Champions League, but it's a big step up for these players. But having Callum fully fit, because he missed a good few of the games, I know Carter Vickers captained the team, having him fully fit as well will make a big difference in the European campaign.
So, Tony Whitelaw, what about yourself? Obviously, you you a bit of sort of following the Champions League last year as well, and went to a few of the games away from. So, what's your thoughts on getting the Champions League this year?
I think it's easy to say that we need to strengthen and we do it. I totally agree, but we need to try and do something in Europe. But what if we get to the groups and we get Manchester City, Real Madrid, and I don't know, some third place team? Sometimes your hands are going to be tied because of the league we're in. We can't spend the money that these clubs can, and that's unfortunate. I mean, as much I'd love to see them make a dent in Europe, but if we get Man City, as I say, is Real Madrid, and I've not really looked at the third place spots. Probably one of the big German teams could be in there as well. Maybe, I don't know how it finishes, maybe Leipzig again. It's going to be very difficult, and I think this season, I thought Kyogo was okay. I just thought we done it. But the chances we missed, especially if you remember Shakhtar Donetsk away, that was a big one where we should have beat them. We should have beat them 3 or 4-1. And then we didn't take our chances, and then then Leipzig beat us over the two legs, and I think that's when McGregor got injured when we went to Germany. I was at that game, but we need to strengthen regardless for the league as well, because I think Rangers will be more difficult next season. I think Michael Beale, for as much as he talks some amount of fucking rubbish, he's managed to master beating all the garbage in Scotland. I think Aberdeen are the only team outside of us that's beat them, so I think he seems to have mastered how to beat these garbage teams, because the standard of the league is piss poor. I think we can admit that. But I think if we get a favourable group, hopefully with the fans right up for it, the atmosphere, the travelling support, I'd love to see us do something in Europe. I think that always needs to be our aim. I know we talk about the league's a priority, but our biggest achievement that we still talk about regularly 50 years later was winning the European Cup. I don't mean we should be trying to replicate that, but it would be great to, I think, either go out the groups or get into Europa and win a post-Christmas knockout tie. The fact we've not won one since 2004, I think, is pretty shameful for a club of our size. I think we need to win a knockout tie. I think that would be big, but that's my kind of thoughts. But again, if we play Man City, I don't see how.
We're in pot 4 as well. That's the problem. Looking at the teams we're against. So
don't get me wrong. You could maybe get Feyenoord, and then I don't know, maybe a Man United, two are still really good teams. But you would fancy that. I was just saying, you could get a disaster group whereby, as much as we might spend 20 million, these teams might have spent $500 million over a period of time, etc. But I'm looking forward to it. I think everybody should look forward to it.
Stem yourself out, Tony. So there's a lot of, I think it's 10 players out on loan. They're all coming back this season then. Is there any there sort of that you sort of think will have a place in Ange's team coming in, like?
You said 10, I can only think of 2, so probably, no, I think of 3 now. So Mikey Johnson, don't know, I don't think so. Barkas, ship sailed.
What's your thoughts on Liam Scales? Obviously, he's done at Aberdeen. Are you sort of convinced about Bernabei, like, as being sort of the next sort of left back, like?
No, not at all. I don't find Bernabei very convincing. I think Greg Taylor's the number 1 left back. I think you might look at left backs. I'm not going to lie, I don't watch Aberdeen games. I've not really seen much of Scales. I've seen his goal against Rangers, obviously. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough for the people coming back. The likes of Johnson, I think he had a good season in Portugal. I think the good thing for pre-season is that you can give them all a chance and watch them in training, and I'm sure that the manager will make the right decision whether people stay or get moved on. But it's a very competitive group. I think that
most of the talks all made obviously about Mickey Johnson. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, really looking forward. He's going back next year." But can you really see him like forcing his way in this team? Like,
no. I think he's had chances. He's not a young boy. Mickey Johnson's been 24. He's had chances and he was garbage. And it's a shame. I don't know if it's confidence. He's obviously got a bit of talent. We've seen that. But I don't know. Maybe he comes back and proves me wrong. I'd be delighted if he did. But I think it's another big summer because you've got to assume teams. I'm assuming teams must be looking at Rio Hatate. I think he's a phenomenal football player. You've got to think people are eyeing up Jota. Kyogo, as much as he's 27, 28, he's just finished top scorer. He's a very good player. Cameron Carter-Vickers being injured might be a godsend because there might not be many teams come from him if they don't know when he's going to be fit. But I agree with Keith. I think we need a new goalkeeper. That's not a slight in Joe Hart. I just think if you want to play this elite style of playing out for the back, we need somebody that's better with with passing the ball, and we need to be ruthless. And Ange's proven that he can be. You look at Juranovic and Yakimakis, and then he replaced them right away with Johnson, who's been, what a signing he's been, by the way. He's been phenomenal, that guy. I'm glad he's back for the cup final. So
definitely.
I think
Do you know who we should go for in goal? Queven Keller. He's leaving Liverpool. He needs first team football.
Yeah, we spoke about him as well.
I've seen people mention him, but how much is he on a week at Liverpool?
I'd say probably about minimum 40 grand a week.
Because you're not going to pay it. I mean, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like,
he's going to be fighting to get to the Ireland squad as well, with like Banzulu obviously getting first team football with Southampton. I'd love to take Queven Keller. I think he'd be good. So not because he's Irish or anything in that case. Like, I think he's done well when he stepped aside for Liverpool. Obviously won them the Carabao Cup and stuff like that. So won't be a bad addition to the squad if he takes the pay cut and sees what he's a Cork boy. He knows what the crack is with Celtic.
I think he could walk in. There's a few Premier League teams he would go into, like, honestly, as their first keeper, like, so he is. I mean, the difference with Joe Hart was because he was at Spurs, probably being their third choice keeper. He would never go to play a game in the 2 years he signed for, like, where obviously he was desperate to go and play. Queven Keller is, like, to me, he has a lot more sort of offers to go to rather than Celtic. I would love the same.
But he has the Champions League experience, obviously, with being there with Liverpool and stuff like that. I know he played a handful of Champions League games. I think he'd be a great addition to the squad, but that's if he wants to be ambitious and say, look, this is a club I want to play for. Obviously, massive fan base, guaranteed first team football. Regards to Mikey Johnson, I think he does have a chance at the club. I know Jota is obviously on that left flank and Maeda, but it comes to a case where he's fighting to play for Ireland now, and you bring him in, take him back in the summer, give him 6 months. If it doesn't work out, play him in the games after the Champions League matches. Let him play them games in the weekends. Doesn't make a place in the League Cup. You ship him out in January. Cut his contract. Let him go.
Tony, what's your thoughts on the players that are coming back? Do you think is any of them sort of to stay on or?
Mikey Johnson, same again. You're right. Take him back. Let's have a look at him in pre-season. See if there's anything or a wee spark in him. If there is, the benefit is. If not, ship him on. But we were looking at, on the back of the World Cup, the big South Korean striker. He was an absolute belter. He was very interested in coming to us. He would be somebody to look at, because when we were at the game on Wednesday night against Hibs, that's what we were missing. We were a big man to put the ball into. You know, attack the ball. Everything was getting thrown into that box was missing by about 2 foot in the air. That's what probably we need. A big Hartson figure, a big Sutton figure up front, because see when the ball's on the deck and it's not working out. Because it happened to Larson as well. Brilliant and all as Larson was.
What about this boy from the guy from Motherwell, Van Dien? The people have been talking about?
No, listen, the guys have a superb season, but it's not in our range. He's not sort of our class. Say that big guy from South Korea, we can nail him down. Apparently he's still interested in what I hear on the grapevine. To get him in would make a hell of a difference.
What's your thoughts on obviously he scored twice yesterday. I think it was his first goal, the header, so it was like he watching the highlights this morning. He's some done well to get his head and score there. There's some angle, so it was like.
Yeah, well, the potential's amazing, but maybe we're a wee bit harsh. We're wanting instant success if any players walking into the club. You have to give them time to settle in. He's done a full season himself. He's come into the club. He's trying to learn the language. He's trying to get to know people. And you can imagine yourself, you get homesick too. So give him, you know what I mean? Give him a good 6 months to settle in. He looks a cracking player. He's got the physique. And he will come good for us. There's no doubt about that. Because
do you think that we'll definitely sort of need to have a new first team keeper and come from the season? Like, do you think Joe Hart should be gone? Like, is it more like a lot of people, when it's obviously he's playing from the back. There's times like when them back passes him back and you're covering your eyes like and going you just don't feel comfortable at all with him, like the way Ange is playing.
I don't feel comfortable with Joe Hart, to be honest. Joe Hart gives me kittens sometimes watching him but we do need the to replace him. Barker's coming back as well. You know what I mean? We've got to ship him out the door because that's been an absolute disaster. Like, that's £5 million down the drain, you know, and we're still paying.
The lockdown signings, Tony. You look at Yeti as well. That's gone as well. Like, you were trying to get rid of him. Obviously, that move to Austria didn't work out for him.
That's right. West Ham, I know a couple of West Ham supporters, and they laughed at us when we took a Yannick. They actually says he was so injury prone. He was like Bo Rector, for God's sake, Bo Rector part 2. You know, he was pretty bad.
Keith, we'll go back to you. So obviously next Saturday we're going to go for the domestic treble in Hampton against Inverness, Caledonian Thistle. But to be honest,
give me the butterflies already.
I am thinking, see all it's come back to me is this, buddy, that headline whenever they beat us at home. That there, what was it?
1999 was it?
Super Celtic are atrocious. I honestly think this is a bit of a banana skin. It's not as sort of as straightforward as people are thinking. It's going to be a walkover. Like, Keith, what
100%. I just think after the last couple of games, I know we got good results yesterday at home. I just think of as Tony said, we look at the team looks a bit burned out. Look at the amount of games we played this season in all competitions. They haven't played in 4 weeks because the championship stopped. So they obviously finished 6th. It is a banana skin. They're going to come in as underdogs. They're going to do anything to stop us winning the treble. So I think we're getting the back four. It reminds me, the Inverness game reminds me of that time when we played them in, I think it was 2015, where Griffiths took the shot and was handballed, and it was a stonewall penalty, and the referee disallowed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just a robbery of the day. Stop Ronnie Doyle winning the treble.
Is any going to the game?
Yes. Happy to.
Of course, you'd be VIP, won't you? The director's box.
No comment. No comment.
I'm working on a ticket, so I'll find out hopefully on Wednesday if I'm going or not.
Mine was, Ro, you're in the same game as me. The girl that rang me and says, I believe the Scottish Cup's on the 3rd of June. You're doing my wedding. Don't you let me down.
Don't let me down.
So I have to stay.
So did you get her cover for the wedding then? Did you?
She'll warn me.
That's it.
I can't let her down. She took me 2 years ago.
Tony, so how do you reckon the game's going to go anyway? Like?
Well, rightly pointed out there by Keith, their season stopped. Hopefully they're starting to seize up a wee bit. But I think Ange he's winded down the team, mate. You know what I mean? This last couple of weeks, and saying there's only one game left, and the one game has been the cup final. You know, you even seen it at Abrax. Nobody was interested, to be honest. You can see we weren't up for anything. So I think give Ange his dues here, because he's very, very switched on about psychological things as well. So maybe he just says, listen, wind down over the next couple of games, no injuries, and keep ourselves focused on the Scottish Cup final, because that is the final game of the season.
I think it's...
Tony, I had a real weird feeling yesterday. I had it like that. You remember when we played Hearts when Dembele made his debut? I kind of had that feeling to it yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, it did indeed.
But I think, well, what about the 2 injuries from yesterday? In it's obviously Hugo down and Johnson as well. Like, both went off. Do you think they're just sort of they'd be grand?
He says, well, the turnaround says that they're not major injuries, so they were just niggles. I hope so, because when I seen AJ yesterday come down and I seen his face, I went, this, because there was no commentary all the time watching it. I went, oh Christ, no, not another injury. But it seems to be okay.
Tony, are you still there? Are you away?
Sorry, my hangover food just came there, so I had to go to the door.
No, I was going to say.
Yesterday.
He's not ordering McDonald's. You know anything about him?
I was going to say, the last time we had Tony on here, Krista came in near flies on me, if that's what happened again. She walked into the room there and he's turned the camera off.
No, I'm in Glasgow. I'm staying at a friend's house in Glasgow. So, no, I kind of done yesterday, no sleep. It was Krista's brother's party for his 40th in Derry on Friday night. So I had to go to that, and then I was a designated taxi driver. Then dropped the last people off at 5:30 on Saturday morning. Drove straight to Belfast Airport. Picked up with my dad at 9, straight to Celtic Park for 10, and then had my my glass of champagne at 11. So I managed to stay out for 12 hours. I stayed out till 11 last night, and then I just crashed out. But I'll be getting back out again after we finish this. I'll jump in for a shower, have my food
Fair play.
because we
So-
never stop.
Oh, I've never stopped. So, yeah, what's your thoughts, Tony, and on this cup final next weekend?
If we turn up and play our best, we'll absolutely demolish them.
You think it'll be a big score? Like?
It's as simple as that. Well, I've got bets on for a big score line. I think every game is a banana skin, but I would be massively shocked if Inverness managed to beat us. I think them not playing for 4 weeks is bad for them. They need
you need to be playing.
match sharpness. I no doubt they're probably training and playing friendlies. It's not the same as in the intensity of a proper game. I thought yesterday was maybe a kind of look at what you could expect next week. Everybody on it, everybody up for it, and just we'll press them. They'll tire as well. If we score early, I think it could be any score. That's not me being disrespectful or flippant. It's just I think we're that good. I would be unbelievably shocked if we don't win next week. And I think we might hit them for 6. That's my kind. I think it might be 6-0. I think. Obviously, you're always nervous. It's just because you're going for such a big achievement.
What's at stake as well?
A world record, the treble, etc. So, but no, I'm quite confident.
I'll stay with you, Tony. So, obviously, prior to yesterday's sort of thumping of Aberdeen at home, obviously, Anne just sort of gave a lot of the fringe players were on it in the last few games for it. Obviously, the results haven't sort of went the way we sort of hoped. But what do you think was that sort of down to? Do you think it was maybe just, in the way sometimes like they say, the players were on the beach already, or do you think maybe those players he brought in just didn't have enough match fitness and they weren't sort of up for them games? Or
I think it's just a normal drop off. You look at every team once they win the league, there is a natural drop off. I think the players don't want to get injured. The game at Ibrox was always going to be difficult. Their players were playing for their careers. Players not to get injured for a massive cup final. And Anne said to you, he says, this is junk time. That's what he called it. He says, he says, I take the responsibility for the results. I made the changes. And then yesterday played his best team. They won 5-0 against the third best team in the country. I don't really look into the drop points at all. People going overboard and this is disgraceful and this is that. And we won the league was won. The reason he was able to make these changes is we'd won the league so comfortably and so well. When we won the league, I think we were 12 or 13 points clear. I think we're 13 points clear. So as much as I think it finished, I think Rangers maybe 7 or 8 points behind us. We won the league at a canter, and I think the players deserve a bit of slack. I'm not going to go overboard. Hibs beat us. Obviously, mistakes were made. I think Ange has got a good look at some of the players, and he probably knows maybe some of them aren't quite up to it. Some of them didn't take their opportunities, but I'm not going to say he should just bin everybody and all the reserves or all the subs are shite. And for me, it was just 3 games. He made changes, didn't work out. He went back to his best team ahead of the cup final. We won 5-0, and I'm not going to be overly critical at Ange or the players. There obviously are some that I don't think are good enough, and I'm sure he knows that, and I'm sure he'll deal with that in summer, but I wouldn't look beyond the fact that I think, as I say, I think Man City drew with Brighton the game after they won the league. Barca had lost a few games. Napoli have lost a few games. Just a totally natural drop-off. If we'd get beat yesterday and then lost the final, of course, I would be saying this is totally unacceptable and yada, yada, yada. But if we win the final, I don't think anybody can have any complaints. It's been an absolutely fantastic season.
Yep. Tony Coleman, obviously, it's been all over the media in the last few years. Obviously, I'm just getting sort of tortured about it. I think this one's probably stuck a bit more about the whole thing with him being linked with Spurs. So many people have turned this bloody job down. Like, I mean, why would you want to? Like, obviously, it's a massive job, like, still. But obviously, there's a lot of talk now about, listen, he hasn't totally said he's not going to go and all. And there's a lot of talk about going that there were with the cup finals over, then it's going to be announced that he's leaving. Like, do you think there's anything at all in this here, like that he's going to go to Spurs?
Yeah. You only have to look at Ange's body language yesterday. Does that look like a man that's going to walk out in this? He ain't no Brendan Rodgers. This man knows our support. He knows the club well. The man is committed to his staff at Celtic, and he knows the likes of John Kennedy and Strachan ain't going to walk away. And Ange is there. Everything that is on the tin with Ange, we can trust. Because He came to the club. He was untested, untried in sort of the world club game. We give him that opportunity, and I think the man is grateful of it
Yeah.
and will pay us back.
And
He will see.
I think
He will
obviously
see this.
he wants
this
to
through.
give another crack at the Champions League, like proper this time now. He's probably thinking, look, I have it's my team now, whatever, and I
Yeah.
want to have another go at it, like.
But like some money and all's involved in it, you know. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, why he's dealing well or whatever again at the club, but he's. I couldn't see him get into the pressure pot of the Premier League, where 3 results down the line and they're all talking about seconds, you know, and you can see which way Tottenham have reacted. That Tottenham is some of the greatest managers in the world this last couple of years, and they can't get it right.
Yeah.
Franz Postecoglou walking down from Scotland into that job, don't maul him, and I think the man knows it himself.
Yeah. Keith, what about yourself on the sort of talk about Ange? Probably going to
All I
Spurs.
could think about is Ange punching the head off Harry Kane. That's all I could think of. Or Lloris. I think looking at Ange at Celtic, like even his kids are happy in Glasgow. His wife's happy there. He's obviously his interaction with the fans, with the media is A1. I think he's going to have one more crack at the Champions League. I think he will leave the end of next season. I think once you do this treble and you have a crack at Champions League, where do you go from there? Do you try to win another treble? And that's when the stakes are high. And if we've to lose in one competition, people start saying, well, we want this, we want that. This is the first time Celtic scored over 100 goals since the Lisbon Lions season. And people are not bragging about that. They're bragging about, we lost 2 games, we took the foot off the pedal. He's here long term. We bring Harry Kewell in. He's had to bring in a lot of staff in the background, like sports science team and all that. I think he's here. And he even said it yesterday, all the fantastic staff that works in the background. When he wins an award, he doesn't talk about the gratitude he gets. He talks about his coaching staff. It's a team effort. So, Daniel Levy, horrible manager, horrible director of football, wherever he is at Tottenham, chairman. Pochettino screwed him over, sacked him after 12 games after getting to the Champions League final season before. Mourinho gave Mourinho the money, didn't work out well. Conte as well. It's just it's a job by one touch. Even though they may have 5 or 6 times the amount of money for the Premier League to buy players, but no one wants to go to Tottenham because it's a terrible club that can keep the managers and keep the players happy.
Tony, obviously you were involved in the last press conference. Was there obviously he was getting sort of obviously tortured by all the media? Asked him about it. What was sort of your thoughts? What way did he approach like all these questions? Like what was he just batting them off and saying, "Listen, like it's a non-story," or what?
He's never once come out and says, "I'm definitely not interested in leaving." He's never said that. He never says, "I'm not interested in this job." He always answers these questions saying that he's focused on the Celtic and winning the cup final. And yesterday he says we have 1 more to go because we never stop. He spoke to me in the press conference about Champions League next year. I honestly think it's probably different to you. I think if Spurs offered him the job, he would walk to London. I think he's very ambitious. I think us being in this league, our hands are tied for what we can do. Tottenham, I think, have got one of the biggest stadiums in the world now. They have been a disaster. They've had some of the best managers in the world, no worked out. I think they had Mourinho, then the guy, Nuno Espirito Santo, they sacked after about 3 months. Conte, they sacked him, then they sacked their interim manager. That's how kind of mad they are. But what could they offer him a week? 200,000 a week, come down, we'll give you a big budget to spend and you can have a crack at trying to win the Premier League. It's hard to read it. I don't know if Spurs will even go for him, but I think if they did, he would have to go. I think they could probably offer him a lot money-wise. But again, he said things like, you're going to be surprised how long I'm at Celtic. And I heard there was rumours that Desmond was going to offer him our biggest ever package for a manager. So
Marty's actually just said this here now. He says I see on the screen here, kind of. He said Ange will get a 5-year contract whenever the cup final's over.
Here's what I would say. If Ange signs a 5-year deal and sees through that deal, I think he'll go down as probably our second greatest ever manager. If Ange Postecoglou signs a 5-year deal and sees him through, I think he'll achieve unbelievable things. I thought Brendan Rodgers was going to be here for 10 in a row. I thought Kieran Tierney would
It'll be off.
And you believe, and I just don't want to set myself up for a fall. And here's one for you. I've had this argument with a few people. Ange leaves, I would take Brendan Rodgers back.
I was only thinking that today. Do you know what? I was only thinking there's something dodgy going on at the moment. He's been a lot in Glasgow recently. I don't know what's going on. He was obviously at the cup.
He was in Willie Hawley's box for the semi-final. I think he's still I think Brendan's got a bit of property portfolio.
Do you know who would love to see at Celtic?
Celtic Park.
Do you know who would love to see at Celtic? Thomas Frank at Brentford. I think Spurs are going to try go in for him or go in for Brendan Rodgers. I think if Leicester stay up, even though I know Rodgers is gone, I think he doesn't want to be attached to a relegated club. I think he'll go to Spurs. I think Brendan Rodgers will be the next Spurs manager.
Well, Spurs he's a favourite for the Spurs job, and then Ange's second favourite. I think the guy Nagelsmann, I think they offered it him first. But for me, if Ange does go, and I hope he doesn't, I would go for Graham Potter or Rodgers.
And Ange's going to be going to Liverpool next season. Cordy behind the scenes is a Liverpool fan. That's what they're saying.
He's a Liverpool fan.
The other go again.
Klopp's leaving the end of next season, and he's going to go. Once he gives us a crack at the Champions League and wins the league, let him go then. You know?
Do you think then actually is the Premier League his next logical move then? Like once he
100%.
Yeah.
I think every manager wants to manage in the Premier League now, and it is a shame. But I think I was never one for us leaving Scotland, but I think we need to. I mean, as much as it's fun kicking a Huns up and down the place and beating them all the time, there comes a stage where you're kind of limited. And I mean, fucking Leicester taking your manager. I mean, Leicester have got no history compared to us. The likes of your players desperate to. If Tottenham I can accept are a kind of bigger club, but again, if we're down south and we're in the Premier League, I'm not saying we should just get into it. I think we should start the National League and take it from there if it ever happens.
Tony, I always have arguments with fans over this. People say to me, well, a lot of people won't travel down to England. So I had a friend that checked up all like hotels and random Premier League teams last season. I worked out around 10 grand to do all the 18 away games in the Premier League. I can't, I know we have Celtic fans everywhere. We obviously went to Sunderland. How many did we bring? 10,000. Anfield for the charity game was nearly 10,000 as well. It's an interesting one. I would like to see us in the Premier League big time. I don't think we'd get in straight into it. I think we'd have to do League One and move up kind of what Wrexham's doing at the moment.
Yeah. I think if we go to the Premier League, there's so many fans in England as well. There's such a big English kind of base. There's CSCs all over. I think the people that travel up to Inverness would happily travel to Bournemouth or London. I think it would be unbelievable. I think but I think it's a pipe dream. I think the English don't want us and they don't want Rangers because we bring the republicanism, and then the Huns are just fucking mental. So I don't think they want. They don't want
Manchester 2.0.
I don't think they want either one of us. And I think these clubs know of Celtic, the kind of Irish connection. It wouldn't be long before there's big investors would want to plough money into us if we move to England as well.
And build that stand up as well.
Yeah,
the fear of Celtic and Sevco becoming too big in the English Premiership fears the English.
Yeah.
Because if we come down there and we start overrunning it and becoming successful, well, two Scottish teams running English football would kill them. It would.
That's it. And if you look, I've seen a stat today. Last time Man United won the league without a Scottish manager was in 1911. I think the managers that won the league has been, I think, 5 for Busby and 13 for Ferguson. So they're forever slagging our league, but I think they would get a fright if we come down to their league. That's
Has an Englishman ever won the Premiership?
I don't think so.
No.
Remember King Kenny won it with Blackburn?
Yeah,
Scottish.
Right.
Two
Celtic guys in shell suits beside him too when they won it. They informed him, "Here, you won the league."
Tony Whitelaw, listen, obviously I think it's fair to say Ange has probably sort of identified his targets coming off the next transfer window already. He's always saying, like, no, the process is well in order, we know who we're sort of looking at and stuff, whatever. Where do you sort of think they need to strengthen, and do you think any of the first team players sort of go get the heave-ho rather than like basically just be bought out by somebody because they want them? Or do you think he's going to say, listen, look, it's not working out and I want you to go on and go bring somebody else in? Or
I think Forrest could leave. Don't get me wrong, as much as I think we need a new goalkeeper, I would keep Joe Hart at the club if he would be interested in even being second choice and doing some coaching. Absolutely. Really big fan of Joe Hart. He's just bought right in. I always thought he was a bit of a wanker, to be fair, but which is unfair of me to judge him like that, probably because he's an English goalie. I think he's been phenomenal, so I'd definitely keep him. Anybody else I would get rid of? Well, I think it would probably extend Moy. I'd like to think he would extend Moy since the World Cup. Moy's been in the most fantastic for us.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Aksabanovic get another season. I really like him. I think he's just rough around the edges, and I think he's been good off the bench, but I think he's still got a lot more to prove.
What about David Turnbull? Do you think he's hardly featured at all this year?
I think Turnbull's had it. I think if Turnbull's one,
the most used sub this season.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's hardly had an impact. I mean, he's come on, but it's been all for like maybe 10 minutes here or there. I mean, it's not like he's.
I think. Well, if you look, the midfield is McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly. Then Moyes ahead of him. Awata's now ahead of him, so he's going to struggle big time. And I like David Turnbull, good player, but I think, as I mentioned already, Ange can be pretty ruthless. And it's this kind of desperation to be the best and constantly evolve. And I think Turnbull will leave. I think we need another centre half. As much as I say about no judging players right away, Kobayashi did look very weak. The one where he lost the goal to John Suter was quite worrying. So potentially look at another centre. I think we'll need one anyway. I think Stephen Welsh is another one that could move on. Again, not a terrible player, played his part, but well down the pecking order. I think he's a bit gubbed with injuries. So, but as I say, it might not be a case of Hans getting rid of players. There might be players that want to leave. I mean, again, it's the lure of the Premier League. I'd be shocked if somebody doesn't try and take Hatate, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody came in for
Brighton. A report they're saying Brighton's going to put an $8 million bid in. He's not going to come to Brighton.
$8 million? For what game? I think would be the.
I know exactly.
Look at him against Real Madrid. He was world class.
The kind of bargain basement, up in Scotland.
The only thing Hatate has in common with Brighton is his gum shield, the same colours their kit next to it is like. But
Hatate to me he's like a brand new Lubo Moratic we'll have at the club with all the skills, touches, turns. Man, it's amazing.
What's your thoughts on Maeda? Because there's a lot of them talk about he's really fast, but he can't cross the ball once he runs down the main. I mean, do you think he has to offer a bit more, or
for what they get him? What did we get him for? It was under $3 million. Guy's amazing. We can't sort of judge him every week on his play.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Every player, when you go through, Jara has bad weeks. Of course, even McGregor's had bad weeks this season. You just can't say finger point at one player. It just let them go out and do their thing in the park. It's great having these shows and we can all talk about players and really go in depth towards them. But you know what I mean? We gotta remember to lay off sometimes, because technically football has changed so much, and which way teams are set up. You can totally get a world-class player look very ordinary in a game, and it's down to tactics. And we've seen it so many times. I think we're very harsh the way we analyse games and all nowadays, and constantly try and pick out players. But I think Maeda has been an absolute revelation for us. I think he's a great player.
Tony Whitelaw, what's I think one of the big talking points this year, whole season, has been obviously coming out the World Cup, the VAR, right? How do you think it's sort of? Do you think it has just been a complete disaster, like from what's brought in, or do you think is there some sort of like whole sort of ulterior motive in the background with a lot of these sort of facials that's doing it and stuff? I mean, or do you think it's just a pile of shit, like?
Just to touch on Maeda, Ange plays him as his first choice, so Ange obviously likes him.
Yeah,
and I think if you watch his pressing, especially in the two games at Hampden against Rangers, his pressing of James Tavernier probably goes unnoticed a bit. It's phenomenal. Just Tavernier is one of their biggest kind of people for going forward. His pressing's phenomenal. Technically, at times, he makes me want to pull my hair out, and I've got a lot of fucking hair to pull out. So, but I think he's been great overall. I think he, as much as he's crossing dodgy at times, look at the cup semi-final against Rangers. That was the kind of definition of never stop.
I was thinking the exact same, to be honest. Yeah,
it was right, and he got us the goal. So really like Maida. I would like him to improve his crossing, of course, but he's been good. You asked me another question. VAR, sorry. You know, I think, in my honest opinion, I don't think there's a grand conspiracy against us. If there is, they're not really doing very well because we keep winning everything. I think the referees are absolutely dreadful. I think they're terrible. The standard of refereeing in this country is shambolic. And there's no repercussions when these guys make constant mistakes. They just get given games and giving games. VAR, it's the same incompetence running VAR that would be refereeing the games. I mean, the first time VAR was introduced, clear handball when we beat Hearts 4-3, not given.
The Giants Forest?
Yeah. I think it was Michael Smith. And Smith knew because he kind of turned his back after it. So I think, I mean, it's not really done us any great disservice. It's too slow. It's far too slow.
Yeah,
you're supposed to celebrate goals. There is a thing they seem to do. Well, they seem to, whenever we're trying to play out quick for a corner, the ref always seems to stop us and say, oh, wait, we need to check. And I feel as though sometimes they're just checking nothing and it slows us down. They're too slow. There's a few decisions I think they've got wrong, even with the help of VAR, i.e. that handball. I think the whole structure of referees in this country needs reformed. I think we need better referees if we get them to abroad or whatever. And I think, no doubt there is some bias. If I was a referee, as much as I try and be professional, would I want to help Celtic? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you've seen like Bobby Madden, he's left Scotland now.
He's retired altogether. He's retired altogether from refereeing.
Is he retired altogether now?
Because it should come out last week there. He was interviewed on BBC Scotland or something about saying, oh yeah, my granda brought me all the Rangers games and all the kid, whatever and stuff.
I went to St Mirren games, right.
Far Cry's interview, that was.
Even if he did go to St Mirren games, if your granda was a big Rangers fan or Celtic fan, they would play in your mind. They must play in your mind.
Yeah.
So, well, in England, they're made to declare who they support. But I think if they were made to do that up here, there would be no day referee the Rangers games. So,
Keith, what's your thoughts on the VAR then?
Yeah, it's a bit slow. Like even the other day against Hibs, it was 10 minutes at a time. Like just like obviously the structure they said they were going to bring it halfway through the season, and then it came through quicker. I just feel like we're moaning every single week. We're saying like at the end of the day, it's not stopping us winning leagues. It's not stopping us potentially win trebles. What it's annoying me is how many penalties has the other team in Glasgow been awarded over the last 2 years? How can a right back score over 50 odd penalties in space his career?
Yeah.
VAR is a big part of that as well in the last season or two. I just think they're constantly getting penalties left, right and centre. It's strange, like.
Tony, do you think obviously that is one of the main things about the VAR? When I know there's the whole thing about the Rangers penalties, and it's a running joke every single week about the Rangers penalty.
The bingo.
What's it going to be this week and all? But I mean, it is ridiculous. Like, I mean, it's. What's your sort of thoughts on that? I mean, do you think
the VAR in Scotland? You know what I mean? We've seen it in the English Premiership, in which way it was going to be rolled out, and then it came to us. And there was a game. I think it was Hearts. They didn't even have a camera in the right position. They couldn't distinguish where it was offside. So they just made a call off the top of their heads. No, just call it offside. You know, and clearly you could see by different camera angles and which way they were showing that our player was onside and the goal should have stood. Then you had Rangers, the game at Ibrox, where if VAR had been used correctly, you had actually seen for one of their goals the tug on our player's shirt to pull him down when he tried to get in and stop the ball.
I suppose the Goldson or the Halson, like it's
absolute. You know what I mean? It's a straight line. You know what I mean?
I know they were talking on TalkSport last week about obviously they released some of the audio,
The audio.
of the referees talking. Do you think eventually something like that should be brought in where like basically you should be able to hear what they're saying?
Like the rugby,
I know,
like
in
100%.
Sorry, brother, how's it going there at the local lodge? Are you getting the pictures in correctly? You know, crazy. I don't know. The VAR is just a disaster in Scotland, to be honest. They would need to bring in a different team to run it. It's pretty pathetic, in my opinion.
I don't know.
Tony, you know what amazes me? How these officials actually get picked to officiate Champions League matches and Europa League matches, and they can't get it right in Scottish football.
No, that does amaze me. Like,
Willie Collum there run them hook like officiate the Champions League game. I'm just like, how the hell?
It's crazy. Can I say to Ro here? Ro, I got to get down to work here. I can see a wee call coming in on my phone. So listen, I heard your speech earlier on about what had happened, and
it wasn't a speech. It was a passionate rant.
Yes, I know, and I know exactly where you're coming from, mate. And this is what you've been doing over this last couple of years. It's been brilliant, and you know it's been brilliant in the community, Ro. So listen, thanks for the last couple of years, mate. I know you're still on to Christmas, like, and I'll see you about. But listen, you've done us a great service here. And fair play to you. And wish you all the best when you wrap it up.
All right, mate, good man. Cheers. All right, see yourself off there.
And here, Keith and Tony, hope to bump into you shortly. Maybe see us for a pint.
Just
I see you soon, Tony.
The last one here. So, Keith, after you had said to me the other day, you were sort of saying, obviously, a bit annoyed about this year, the St. Patrick's Day tap that was brought out. Obviously, it was never
ever
used.
Right now.
It was never ever used. I think it was obviously brought out like as a sort of ploy, obviously, the play on St. Patrick's Day. But I mean, like, obviously, the guts for an hour 70 quid, like, for an hour bloody tap. I mean, it's never going to be played with. Like, well, but do you think, and obviously, sort of Tony as well, with the whole cost of living crisis it is in the minute, especially what sort of Celtic was founded for. I mean, do you think is it acceptable to be sort of releasing an hour kit like this midway through the season and then just never using it to play?
To be honest with you, I was reading an article there that all the manufacturers are putting the jerseys up next season. So Adidas is putting theirs up by 10 quid all across the board. Nike are putting up theirs by 5, and Puma are putting up theirs by 5. So they're obviously bringing out these different version jerseys, the elite jersey, the normal replica. I think it's shocking. I think Celtic should have a loyalty scheme in place where you get your season ticket and you get 20% off the kits, and you get 20% off the kids' kits as well. I think there should be it's more an incentive for people to buy long term, get a discount rate. Like it's shocking. Even like it's at the end of the season, the home top's still not on sale. Still not on sale yet.
Yeah.
Usually they used to put the home top on sale in February. What's going? I just think it's down to. I think it's a Peter Lawwell stunt. To be honest with you, it's a marketing stunt. I think that jersey's iconic to bring out, but it's sad that we never got to wear it.
Yeah.
I think
it
is a business, and I think they know that Celtic fans will spend their money. I don't ever wear colours. It's something I've never done. I don't buy anything really for Celtic. I buy a lot of tickets from them, but I don't wear any jerseys, and the cost is mental. But I think if you've got young kids and you've got season tickets, you're probably thousands of pounds every season, because the kids will always want the tops or the strips, and then paying for the tickets as well. I know they increased the season tickets by 3%. I think it's a reasonably okay rise. It's nothing too extreme, but again, as you say, it's cost of living crisis. Everybody's kind of feeling it now, so you would like to think they
look at the turnover they have in the last 2 years, like 125 million turnover, the Champions League, TV rights and stuff like that. Is there right that they have to bring out another 4 or 5 jerseys a season? Yes, it's a given there for a selection for fans to buy different retro stuff, but at the same time, people are struggling. I know no one's putting a gun to your head saying buy this jersey. Well, you feel like you're out of place when you don't buy the jersey. You know, I'm constantly buying jerseys all the time. I just think they need to give something back to the fans, and I think a loyalty scheme discount would be iconic, or even a recyclable jersey scheme. Like that's what they're doing now in most shops, like the likes of H&M. You trade your old clothes in, and you get a discount off. People are recycling clothes.
Aye. Just one more on this sort of the kit thing. Say, Tony, what's your sort of thoughts on? I know there's been a lot of talk about in England, but I think especially more about a club like Celtic with the betting company as the main advertiser. Do you think they should be looking? Obviously, a lot of money involved. I mean, Rangers have the betting company as well. Do you think they should be looking as a moral thing? I mean, as just sort of not having it, or do you think at the end of the day money talks and?
I think they should change the rules along with players gambling. If a player wants to bet in a match that doesn't involve them, who cares? Let them do it. You can't tell them to wear these sponsors and play in these stadiums that are named after betting companies. And then if you have a bet, you want to ban them. Obviously, Ivan Toney, I know he was betting in his own games, which he obviously shouldn't be doing because that brings the game into disrepute. I don't know. Do I ever look at the Celtic jersey and go, fuck, I fancy a bet, or am I going to bet anyway because I like a punt? Don't know. I think, again, as you mentioned, I can see from a moral standpoint why it would be great if we just done away with it. And obviously people do suffer massively for gambling, and obviously there's a drastic kind of drop-on effects from that. But again, are Celtic going to say to Daft bet, no what, we're not putting you on a strip, you can take your 5 million or however much it is. I don't know. It's an interesting one, but I think unfortunately it's no normal people like us that run Celtic. It's businessmen who are out to maximise profits and maximise potential for sponsorship. So I don't see any changes like that up here at the moment. It would probably be a good thing, and maybe more help should be made available to those that are kind of suffering from a crippling addiction. So it's an interesting.
What's your thoughts on that, Keith? And the whole.
I was watching a YouTube video, right? On he's talking about betting sponsors. There's a guy that does collects all the football jerseys, and he done from non-league up to the Premier League, and there was 94 jerseys that betting sponsors on them. Crazy, absolutely crazy. I think they should put the Celtic Foundation badge on the sleeve that the players have been wearing since the semi-final for obviously the fans' jerseys. Regardless of getting rid of betting sponsors, I think it would be ideal. Obviously, it's everywhere. It's all over TV. Even when you're going to live score, it's giving you links to go in and do betting and stuff like that. I don't know who would sponsor us. We're just a massive club. Who would we go for? Is going to be another beer logo, even though we have magnets on the back of the jersey. It's a strange one. It's really a strange one.
What do you think? TNC events instead of Daffabet? You think I would?
What's that? Well, I suppose you have the money. You have the money now to do it, so Tony. So you could be doing
TNC on the badge.
Maybe just right across the jersey. Who knows? We'll see.
That's it.
I'll make them an offer of 50 pence, see if they're up for it.
Or just lifetime VIP for you and your dad. That'll do it. Right. So listen, before we go, I know you'd said there, Tony, you're going for a 6-0 for next week. Do you think is that sort of you still reckon that there? It's going to be a big score. The cup final?
Yeah, I think we'll turn up. I think we'll play really well, and I think if we get the early goal, it could be as many as we want. So don't get me wrong. If you offer me 1-0 now, I would absolutely snap your hand off for it. Anyone will do. But I think we'll put on a show next week. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to my pint today. I'm going to quickly eat my lunch.
For the day, yeah?
Just to Gallagate. Probably go down to Traders.
Did you go to up to the thing yesterday? The big party up in the.
No, I went to the Gallagate for a pint. I don't really go to these big events. I think I'd rather sit my ass in a pub and too lazy to stand for hours.
That's below you, is it? Mixing with sort of the great unwise,
Don't you try and paint that picture of me. That's disgraceful. See the trouble you've caused this week, though. You should be reining it in.
Mate. You know me, there's always a bit of controversy falling behind me somewhere. So there's so Keith, what's your sort of score prediction for next week for the cup final?
I'm gonna go 3-1. I think they will score against us first for some reason. I just have a feeling it's gonna be like that Dunfermline game. Larson's last game just has a vibe to it. Underdogs. So I'm gonna go 3-1. It's just interesting to see who he starts. Does he go with a Abade? Does he start Jamesy? Midfield talks for itself. You're gonna put a Tate, O'Reilly, McGregor in. If Kyogo's fit, you put Kyogo in front. Might be back from suspension. Probably put Jota. It's interesting, but I'm worried about the centre back position. To be honest with you, I'm not confident with Kawabashi. I thought Starfelt's been doing well without Carter Vickers. So I don't know what the situation with Carter Vickers, if even there's a chance of getting him back for next week. It's quite slim.
No, he won't. Sure,
Oh.
no way.
No,
Next season, like no way he'll be back next season. Like,
And AJ, hopefully we get AJ back as well. Like I know he obviously came off yesterday. He's been a revelation. I have to say, my cousin in Canada, he's obviously he goes to all the Canada games, and he was saying to me, he goes, Keith, I'm mark my words on it, he's going to be a future captain of Celtic. And I just laughed at him when he said, but just the way he speaks, the way he plays, even these debut at Ibrox, won over fans straight away.
Yeah,
like I remember when we signed him, and I was like, he's not going to fill Jovanovic's shoes. Like, there's no way he's going to be as good as Jovanovic. I was like, I just think this is going to be a bomb scare signing, and he's been unbelievable.
No, actually, Tony, you've been to a couple of the press conferences where AJ has done. Like, well, obviously, I think his talking is brilliant. I mean, he's really confident, and you hear him talking. How have you sort of found him?
I don't think I've spoke to Alistair Johnson. Like, obviously, it's our rota for the press conference.
Oh, okay.
Must have been one of the other fan medias. I've listened to him. I think he's been excellent. I think talks really well, plays really well, backs it up, and he's going to be says he's going to win a treble. Hopefully, his first season. I hope he's fit for next week. I think he'll play a Wata at centre half again. I think the team will be Hart, Johnson, Taylor, Awata, Starfelt, McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly, Maida, Kyogo and Jota. That would be my prediction. And for anybody interested, the Celtic women are winning the cup final. It's 1-0.
1-0. I had seen somebody post there now.
I think it'll be David Turnbull's last game. I'm marking my words, and I think he's gone. I just think the body motions, you could see it in him. He's just not arsed. Like,
most important question, Tony. What have you got for your hangover food?
I get, funnily enough, I ordered food last night when I came in, and I fell asleep, and I had 3 missed calls.
Oh, that's the best.
So, but I did say, please leave the food at the back door, and there was no food at the back door, so I put in a refund request. So today I've opted for a Pepe's Peri Peri. So I've got the chicken and rice with some peri chips, a can of, I think it's Pepsi Max, and some chicken tenders. So I'll get that demolished then.
Set you up for a few pints anyway.
Yeah,
right, lads. Thank you very much. So, cheers for coming on. Good crack today. So it was. All right.
Thanks very much, Ralph.
Cheers, lads. All the best.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All the best, Ralph. Cheers. Thanks very much.
There you go, lads. To Keith Corcoran there and Tony Waitlaw, and of course Tony Coleman, who had just buggered off for his way to do a gig. So I'll just get the screen back on here in a second. So you had loads of great comments there and input from you as well for during the interview. Say, obviously a wee bit longer than we normally have. We had 3 people on at once, obviously all giving their different points of view, but it was very interesting, so it was good just to have a bit of an end of season Celtic chat. So go play another Celtic song here, and this one here, actually, it was Tony Coleman that put me onto this here, and like when he used to do his Celtic show on a Wednesday night, and never heard of this Kevin Miles song before. Obviously now it's just probably one of my favourite Celtic songs. So this is Kevin Miles, folks, with Celtic, My Heart, My Soul.
Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. I followed the teams of the past and watched history unfold. Going to Parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins are all green, white and gold. The sun, it shines down as we're walking along London roads. The Green Brigade burst into song and the jungle explodes. So what does it mean to be Celtic, and how does it feel to pull on the hoops and be fearless like Billy McNeil? Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. I followed the teams of the past and watched history unfold. Going to Parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins are all green, white and gold. They came in their thousands to Lisbon, and Jock had a plan. He understood football was nothing without the fans. We went to go down before Gemmell and Chalmers would save us. Our jerseys don't fit second best or inferior players. Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. I followed the teams of the past and watched history unfold. Going to Parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins are all green, white and gold. Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. I followed the teams of the past and watched history unfold. Going to Parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins are all green, white and gold.
There we go, folks. Kevin Miles, review, folks, with Celtic, my heart and my soul. So, yep, great interview with the three lads. Tony Whitelaw from the Four Tims podcast, Keith Corcoran from Come On the Hoops Celtic podcast, and just general Celtic legend here from West Belfast. Good friend and fellow DJ Tony Coleman. So yeah, cheers lads, great Celtic chat there, and I think everybody who's watching really enjoyed it. Let's see, good interview. Cheers, thank you very much, Valerie. Love that song. Marty Agnew, watching on Facebook. Folks, if any of you are watching the show on the DJ Rebel Row Facebook page, can you just please share it for me? Obviously, because we're no longer on the official Rebel podcast Facebook page now. So it's gone. So the show going forward, well, till December anyway, is will be going on the normal YouTube channel. Hopefully back on Twitter in the next show. I'll have to find out what was wrong with the Twitter page. And then, of course, from the DJ Rebel Row page on Facebook. And just Kieran just said, he says, what was Tony saying at the end of his interview? Did I miss something at the start of your show? Well, that's your problem for being late, Kieran, isn't it? You would have heard. So yes, basically at the end of the year, so the Big Fans Gathering, mate, has got, just for anybody that may have missed it, the Big Fans Gathering this year is going to be the very, very last one, as a sort of show we've been putting out for the podcast. And then the following week, the Rebel Sunday show the following week is going to be the last ever show for Rebel Sundays, folks, live. So it is. So unfortunately, I know laddies will sort of think it shouldn't be happening, it should be keeping on, but my sort of thing is now, is obviously with all the shit I've sort of had to deal with this sort of thing, what happened there during the week, it's let the real sort of sour taste in my mouth, sort of in being involved in this whole scene. But then I think more, on the other end, it's more, I think I've sort of given up on my sort of life and family time and sort of private time to do this show, when it was only really meant to be for during lockdown, but obviously it grew legs and extended. But definitely the decision has been made that I think obviously the Facebook page closing as well was sort of the start of me sort of leaving the scene a wee bit. But yeah, so definitely at the end of the year, the week after the Big Fans Gathering is going to be the very, very last ever Rebel Sundays live podcast, folks. So there you go. So Kieran, hope that there's the information you're looking for. Catherine Kelly, then Facebook listening from sunny Waterfoot. Waterfoot, that's where we spent our childhoods, basically in the caravan of 2 weeks every year. I couldn't have thought of a better summer holiday. Just went there every single year. The dog slept under the caravan. Whole caravan was covered in sand by going down the beach every day, like so did. Them sand dunes and Waterfoot Beach are just probably the best beach in Ireland, so it is like. So there you go. So who was looking for it was actually Anne-Marie was looking for a Kieran Byrne song, so I'm going to play it there after this next one. So Anne-Marie, it'll be on, don't worry. Right, so obviously Terry was looking for Damien Quinn, so done this one last night, obviously up in the gig in Cross McGlen, probably when I was doing the wee disco bit at the end. And for me, it was probably the biggest song down for everybody. I said to them, right folks, you might all know this here song. The guy singing this here, he lives local, he's not far in your area, so he isn't. But you might all know the words. It's a bit of a West Belfast anthem. And as soon as stuck on the first keys, or the first thing of Rebel Sunday, the whole floor was just rammed and the rhythm of it. So just for old time's sake, as the show takes its name from this song, this is Damien Quinn. especially for Terry with Rebel Sundays.
Well, it took a stroll down the old Falls Road. Rebel Sunday is the day when you see Jerry Oak and Gideon Quinn sing the song of the IRA. I ask you friends, are you heading to the rock? Cause I have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Gideon Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shabeen. Well, Jerry Oak sings fuck your flag and fuck it again, while Damien Quinn sings 18 Brits and a nation once again. And I ask you friends, are you heading to the rock? Cause I have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shabeen. They'll hear the songs of Bobby Sands and the men who fought and died, the broad black brimmer and the black and tans and the Provost lullaby. I ask you friends, are you heading to the rock? Cause the hand Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shabeen. Well, I took a stroll down the old Falls Road. Rebel Sunday is the day when you see Jerry Oak and Damien Quinn sing the songs of the IRA. I ask you friends, are you heading to the rock? Cause I have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shabeen. Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen. Jerry Oak, Jerry Oak, Jerry Oak, Jerry Oak, Jerry Oak, Jerry Oak.
There we go, that's Damien Quinn with 18 Brits with Rebel Sunday, especially for our friend Terry, who's always after a bit of Damien Quinn on the show. So there you go, Mrs. Right, so if you remember last week in the show, folks, this post was put up and it caused a wee bit of debate afterwards on Facebook as well. So Marty posted up, he said, did you see the bloody fry at their salad fry, the tag from Clover posted up? So where it was there, the picture of it, and he posted up, he said, oh, this is my fry, folks, this has set me up for a great day in work or a great day's drinking or something. And everybody's like, what the hell is that there? Like, Jesus Christ. And so it was all over Facebook, and there was a post and people commenting going, Jesus Christ, that's not a real fry, that's not a real breakfast and all this here, blah, blah, blah. So Paul Sheeran from Clover as well, I would say we'd be talking to him most days, so he sent me a voice note during the week. He says, Ro, I feel I have to defend the cafes of Limerick here, because he says basically what Tag got, he says, is not a true reflection of a proper breakfast. He says he is just a fussy bastard when it comes to food. He says I would eat 4 of them there on that plate. He says, so he sent me a picture and he says, this is actually a real breakfast. He says, and I think it's from the same place where Tag was, I got that one from. He says, this here is a real Irish breakfast, so it is. He says you get in Limerick, but I think obviously it's still missing a bit of potato bread and soda bread and probably a few a pancake and something else or whatever, I don't know. But it's definitely an improvement there of that they're offering the Tag put up so it was last week, because that thing there was just shameful. Like, you couldn't go in a cafe and order that bloody thing, or could you? Like, Jesus, how much would you be paying for that there? So that's obviously Paul defending the honour of cafes in Limerick. So he is saying that thing Tag put up was not a true reflection at all of the. Marty says, poor Tag O'Callaghan getting pelters. Well, of course you should, Marty. Sure was you put the mix in last week. Did you see his buddy Kieran Mack says chips on a breakfast? No wonder. Have you never had chips on a fry? You should go to the coffee house Probably one of the best places in this road, Kieran, to get a fry up in the Suffolk on the Shearstown Road, and their big fry is chips. One, that's what it has like. Let's see, Sinead says, no idea what has happened as I'm relatively new to the show, but it will be missed. Good luck. Thank you very much, Sinead. Not a problem. I think you don't really want to know. To be honest, you don't, Mrs. You better well stay on out of it and stay out of the bloody bitchiness and the backstabbing and all this hearing. Marty, yes, well done for confirming. Paul Sheeran, definitely. Right, so Anne-Marie are almost looking for a bit of Kieran Byrne for Death Before Revenge. So we'll do this here from Kieran's new album that's on Spotify at the minute. So it's called Kieran Byrne Music Presents For Ireland. And this is actually the track listen. I'm just looking across here now on Spotify. So it's Abe McAnespy, Billy Reid, Death for Revenge, Farewell to Balahi, For Ireland I'll Not Tell Her Name, Hits Block Song, Kevin Barry, Something Said So Strong, Willie and Danny, Song from Marcella, The Parting Glass, and Spanson Hill. Great album, great song choices, so it is. So Maria, it's one of Spicy Few, and this is Kieran Byrne with Death Before Revenge.
Harry Hughes, McCreation Sands, Doherty and Lynch, MacDonald, Herson, McElwee, Devine. Oh, call me what you will, and tell me what they say. Tomorrow brings a new wind, the rain has gone away. In these walls I see the sun shine o'er the hill, down into the valleys among the daffodils. But when this war is over and I see your face again, I will tell you of the warriors who put death before revenge. Now here we starve in prison to uphold our fellow man, with only a woolen blanket, a crucifix in their hands. British crews harass and give them hell, but their spirits never break. Hold your chin up, lads, keep marching on. We don't think she'll leave it too late. But when this war is over and I see your face again, I will tell you of the warriors who put death before revenge. And Bobby was the first to go, with Francis close behind. The people streamed onto the streets, so faith was not a crime. Faith is what those men had when they chose to join or fight. Their actions were political, can those British see we were right? But when this war is over and I see your face again, then I will tell you of the warriors who put death before revenge. The days rolled by and two more died, O'Hara and McCreesh. So Thatcher chose to bite her lip, the toil was not to cease. The barricades went up by day as the bullets hummed by night. How much longer must we keep this path so still no end in sight? But when this war is over and I see your face again, then I will tell you of the warriors who put death before revenge. It's a dreadful thing
These men joined the ranks of martyred brave. That's 10 too many coffin nails kick holy to their grave. But if they'd only realize and Thatcher mark as well, that's 10 more determined reasons to break out of this hell. But when this war is over and I see your face again, then I will tell you of the warriors who put death before revenge. But when this war is over and I see your face again, I will tell you of the warriors who put death before revenge.
There he is. That's Kieran Byrne there, folks, from his brand new album for Ireland. That is Death for Revenge, especially for Anne-Marie Barkley. There you go. Right, folks, this is Rebel Sundays here on the Rebel podcast, multi-streaming live today on Facebook and YouTube. Say if you're watching on the new channel on Facebook on the DJ Rebel Row page, if you're wondering why the old one isn't on anymore on the Facebook page, obviously the official Rebel podcast Facebook page is gone. It's cheerio, it's not coming back. So it's been deleted, it's gone. And all the 20,000 followers it took me 5 years to build up, but it's gone. It's still hard to think of, but try not to just let it get to me because it's hard to think of. So it's now live on the DJ Rebel Row Facebook page. So if you can please share it for me. Obviously, I want to try and get a few more followers and likes on the new page to build it up. So obviously, whenever the podcast finishes at the end of the year, I still want to continue doing the live the DJ gigs for the Rebel Row. So we'll need to pump it up a wee bit. So you heard James there, and what did he say? Let's see about the where are comments. We were talking about Tag's breakfast. And he says, we'll find out next weekend how good the Limerick breakfast judge for ourselves. But now we're going to Shannon, James. So I'm sure Shannon people won't take too kindly to being called from Limerick. Do you know what I mean? And they're in County Clare, not County Limerick. But yes, folks. So if any's are heading, let us know. So obviously next week we're heading away. Next weekend, so for a good night out at the Wolftone GA Club in Shannon, County Clare. Basically, it's a free night out. There's no tickets or anything involved. There's basically anybody who wants to come can come. We're just all going to land in the bar. The Scottish Cup final's on at 5:30, so I'd say by the time the gig comes around, we'll be all well watered. So all anyway. So yep. So we're looking forward to going to see Clover in their sort of home patch. Say it's like a bit of an unofficial sort of night away. So if any want to go, just make your travel arrangements. If you're in the south, you can get there, whatever. Obviously, we're driving down staying overnight to our. There's a couple of great hotels down there. So if any want to go, folks, just we'll all meet you there on the night on Saturday the 3rd, next Saturday, at the Wolftones GAC Club in Shannon, County Clare, Clover, or go play this one of their sort of regular annual yearly gigs they play in there a couple of times a year. So yep, if anybody's fancy going, let's see us there. Marty and Elaine have already ditched this, so they have, which we're very disappointed about. But what can you do, you know? Right, so what's up next? So yeah, Kieran Dowling was looking for Stefan with Remember Darky Hughes. So if any is who have asked for a song yet and I haven't played it, let me know. So Graham's looking for Crunchers Down by the Glen site, right? No problem. Yes, we'll get that on as well. So we'll yes, so we'll do this one here. If I can just get this here off the screen to get the proper camera screen back on. There we go. Kieran from Errigal, say he's going to be our next guest on the show on Sunday the 10th of June. So we'll get the flyer knocked up after next week or something. I'm looking forward to having Kieran on, see what his perspective is of what is happening in the madness and the gig scene over in Glasgow at the minute. So he was looking for Stefan with Remember and Darky Hughes. And say, I'm not sure if Stefan sung this one last night at this gig. He was only playing for an hour, so he mightn't have, I don't know. But he put on a cracking show at the gig last night for Jamie in Crossmaglen up at the Cross Square Hotel. So here we go, Kieran, this one's spicy for you from Stefan's album Rebel Heart. And just again on Stefan, like for me, I thought I was a bit of a weakling when it came to drink, and I basically just couldn't handle it. He had 2.5 pints of Guinness last night. That's all he had to drink, 2.5 pints of Guinness. And basically we had to pull over in Fork Hill on the way home at about 2:30 this morning, and he was bulking his ring up all over the road. So there you go, Stefan. That's you shame there, so it is, mate.
Oh, Darky dear, we used to hear you talk of days gone by, of the awful cost and the friends you lost, why they chose to die. I heard of hell in a hedge block cell, all the things they put you through. Please tell us why, before you die, why you did them things you do. Oh son, I fought for freedom and the dignity of man, for a land that we could carve from stone and a destiny we'd planned. I put my faith in comrades first and leaders only then, and the dogs we rose from the devil streets like gods and fighting men. We lashed out at the enemy on those rainy Belfast streets. We suffered too, we lost our best, but we learned from our defeats. With bombs we changed the Belfast maps, for we knew no other route. And when those English coffins passed like comets, we'd salute. Oh, they came for me one morning and they battered me in rage. They kicked me round those narrow streets, then they dragged me to their cage, where I lived with Tommy Tolan and the gallant Bobby Sands. We dreamt of Irish freedom there, we'd sing and make our plans. Oh, birdie, 1 year later I escaped into the night. I didn't lie low on the run, sure I had a war to fight. I lived in leafy suburbs where the enemy pleased dwell, and early one morning I arose and gave them hell. Haunted night and morning I was captured once again, and sentenced to the hitch blocks I returned to tortured men, and labelled now as gangsters by the servants of the crown. We wrapped ourselves in blankets and prepared to face them down. You never feel the pain that we went through, freezing cold in our own waste. We were battered black and blue. I heard brave men cry out to God, sure I held them as they cried, and I felt my heart burst out my skin as our hunger strikers died. But when my war was over, I returned to Divis Tar, and it hurt to see my comrades change in their struggle to take part. Instead I worked on a building site for £100 a week. And I asked myself, what was it all for if my neighbours were still me? Now son, I leave you with this thought, and I'll pass into the night. I hope you know I done my best, I did what I thought was right. And I hope that God will understand if what I did was wrong. Stay true to you, the Republic, to forget me and move on. Stay true to you, the Republic, to forget me and move on.
There we go. It is Stefan there, folks, here with Remember Darky Hughes. Brilliant song, really, really cracking song. So I was out with Stefan last night, so I was up in or down Cross McLean at the gig for Jamie. And he's actually telling me the guy who wrote that there song brought him up to Camlock or somewhere else where it was, and brought him around like a few wee sort of after hours clubs and all about a year ago or something. He must have obviously met the guy to sort of must have met him to ask Mason about could he use the song or whatever, and he said it just turned into a bit of a mad session. So there you go. Marty Marty says there, let's see, what did he say, what happened to your finger? Let's see, what was it? I was going to move the microphone here, right, and there's like a wee hinge, so there was, and I was lifting up my finger got stuck on the hinge and it nipped, and it's like a wee nick on it, but I'll live, but obviously because the camera was on me when I done it, so that's why you're probably going what the hell happened there, but it was it's a bit stingy, like. So it was, I see Tag is now on trying to defend himself from trying to order that there shotgun fries, so he is. Paul S says, just back in County Cork from Bundorno, thanks for everything you've done for Rebel music scene and appreciate getting this opportunity to come on your show last week. Not a problem, lads. Dan Breen says, that's another cup in the Celtic trophy room, so it is. The girls won the cup. A happy days, there we go, it's great. Just unfortunately they couldn't do it last week and win the big one, the league, like, which was, obviously they done their job. It was actually the Glasgow City against Rangers, like that. Another bloody bit of controversy there. So there was, but so who was looking for? I think it was who was looking for Cruncher? Where was it? Graham Keaton, I think it was looking for Cruncher. Yeah, down by the Glenside. So we'll do that there next, folks. We'll have another half an hour left of the show today. So if you've asked for a song and haven't played it yet, again, just put it in one of the comments on Facebook or on YouTube, and I'll try and get it on before we wrap it up today. So yeah, that's all caught up all the comments. So here we go. This is down by the Glenside from the legend himself, Terry Crunchy O'Neill. Crunchy, I say it all the time. It's not Crunchy, it's Cruncher. Terry Cruncher O'Neill. Graham, this one's supposed to be down by the Glenside. Both Fenian men.
Was down by
what a tune.
The Glenside, I met an old woman, a plucking young nettles. As she ne'er saw me coming, I listened a while to the song she was humming. Glory, oh, glory, oh, to the bold Fenian man. 'Tis 50 long years since I heard the moon beaming on strong manly forms, oh, eyes with hope gleaming. I see them again, sure through all my sad dreaming. Glory-o, glory-o to the bold Fenian man. When I was a younger, they're marching and drilling, awoke in the glenside. Sounds awful and thrilling, for they love poor old Ireland, and to die they were willing. Glory-o, glory-o to the bold Fenian man. Some died by the glenside, some died by the stranger, and wise men have told us that their cause was a failure, but they stood by old Ireland, and they never feared danger. Glory-o, glory-o to the bold Fenian man. I passed on my way. God be praised that I met her, be my lifelong or short. Sure, I'll never forget her. We may have brave men, but we'll never have better. Glory-o, glory-o to the bold Fenian man. Glory-o, glory-o to the bold Fenian man.
There we go. It's sort of Terry Cruncher O'Neill there, folks, with bold Fenian men. Especially for Graham Keaton, that one. Just jump back onto the screen here if we can get it. There we go. Down to the last about 25 minutes left today, folks. So I've got a few text messages come through here and I was reading them there. So it was so listen, obviously the numbers haven't been massive today, but listen here, not really worried. I know with the Facebook page closing down, we would have had a sort of good few more watching on Facebook. But listen, the ones that are important are here. So they are. So that's the main thing, so it is. Right, so we're going to continue on with the Celtic song. So Kathy was looking for another Celtic song here. So we're going to do a song from Clover's album called Live in the PD at the very, very first Big Fans Gathering. Great version they done of Willie Millie. Actually, it's Peter singing this one, so it is. So we'll do this one for Anne-Marie, for Kathy Cardwell. So any more requests, folks? I can see there's some coming through. If you want a tune, put it in there in the comments section, and we'll try and get it on before we wrap it up today. So this is Clover, folks, who really looking forward to seeing in Shannon next weekend. But it's just getting away, no gig or anything, just getting out for a night out of with basically friends, getting blocked, having a laugh. I'm not doing any driving at all. Laura's driving there and driving home again, so I don't have to worry about will be down the next day or whatever. So really looking forward to just getting away next weekend, getting out of the way and down for a good night with good people. So this is Clover with Willie Millie live in the PD at the very, very first Big Fans Gathering, especially for Kathy Cardwell.
Willie Bailey was his name. He brought some great names to the game when he was the boss at Celtic Park. He taught them how to play football. He made the greatest of them all. Gallagher and Quinn had left their mark. Come on! And they gave us James McRory and Paul Backstay and the IRA. They gave us Johnston, Tully, Murdoch, Cole and Hay, and most of the football greats that have passed through Parkhead's gates. for to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. In 38 there was a show, Glasgow was the place to go. A model of the tower was football's prize. England sent four of the best. They didn't meet with much success because the trophy ended up in paradise.
Let's hear ya.
And they gave us James McRory and Paul Maxtay. They gave us Johnston, Tully, Murdoch, Gold and Hay. And most of the football greats that have passed through Parkhead's gates for to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. Coronation time was here, 53 that was the year. Another four from England met their due. They said we'll have to try again, 'cause like before it wasn't vain, because the cup is in the Parkhead Trophy room.
Come on, let's hear you sing.
And they gave us James McRory and Paul Maxtay. They gave us Johnston, Tully, Murdoch, Gold and Hay. And most of the football greats that have passed through Parkhead's gates for to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. But then in 1957 we faced a guy called Georgie Nevin. The game is etched on every Celtic fan, with Wilson, Balkan and McPhail and Willie Fernie scored as well, and Celtic fucked the Rangers 7-1.
Let's hear you sing.
And they gave us James McRory and Paul Maxtay. They gave us Johnston, Tully, Murdoch, Gold and Hay. And most of the football greats that have passed through Parkhead's gates for to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. For 10 years they have gone, and so to Portugal we had to go to play the team that Italy adored. The Celtic went out to attack. They won the big cup and they brought it back. It's the first time it had been on British shore.
Come on, let's hear you sing. Go.
Sing. And they gave us James McRory and Paul Maxtay. They gave us Johnston, Tully, Murdoch, Gold and Hay. And most of the football greats that have passed through Parkhead's gates for to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. But now a new millennium, we have a brand new stadium, and we're amongst the honours once again. Celtic fans did loudly sing, Larson is still the king of kings, as he joins the list of famous Celtic men.
Let's hear.
Come on! And they gave us James McRory and Paul Maxtay. They gave us Johnston, Tully, Murdoch, Gold and Hay. And most of the football greats that have passed through Parkhead's gates for to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. One more time, let's hear you sing. And they gave us James McRory and Paul Maxtay. most of the football grace. Now half past your parkage gates for to play football in Glasgow Celtic way. For to play football the Glasgow Celtic way. Willie Bailey!
Hey! There we go.
Fantastic singing along, folks. Thank you very much.
Willie Neal there with Clover, recorded live in the PD Club. Cracking album. Go and check it out, folks, on Spotify. It's a great listen. So there's a couple of really brilliant live tunes there. So there's, right, we're doing the last 20 minutes of the day's show. A few more comments coming through. Let's see, where am I? I was played here for Dirty Cardwell. Joseph McGow says, would you play George and Pop? Martin mentioned earlier on that their anniversary today, memorial today. Yes, mate, it's going to be on for the last song anyway, so go to do it for the last tune today. So George and Pop's definitely will be on at the end of the show. Don't worry, mate. Couldn't give up that anniversary the day of all ones. You know what I mean? Like, of course, this one I didn't know about. So it was today is the anniversary of Celtic's first game in 1888. We beat the Buns 5-2. You see, normally I'd be up to date with all this here stuff, but obviously my head just went up a hole. So it is like all this shit that's been going on. But there we go. Alright, Terry, what's the crack? Are you coming over for the gathering or what? And here, what's the crack with Carl Ann? She haven't seen her on the show in a way. Was she just like what's going on there? Right, so what do I have lined up next? Do I have a song lined up next? Right, so Sinead was looking for Grace, but obviously Marty says, "Oh, it's you off the Christmas card list." So it is. But yeah, you know, obviously love Slice the Taste playing that bloody song, like. But so we'll do Black Watch for you instead, Sinead. She was looking for Black Watch. This is from the Spirit of Freedom, from their unknown albums. I don't know what album this is. It's just an album I have on my laptop of all Spirit of Freedom songs. But it's not really a great recording. You can hear a wee bit of crackling whenever it starts off. Maybe they've been going that long. This is actually out in vinyl or an old tape or something sort of. But Sinead, this one spicy for you is the Black Watch for our Scottish friends with those bloody berets, as they call them. Here we go.
Strolling down the Falls Road with red guns and gas, terrorising women as they're coming out to mass. A shower of Scottish traitors we never will forget. Thank God we know the Irish aren't beaten yet. You've heard about the B-men, the cruel war you see. You've heard about the black and tans and bygone history. But there's another regiment the devil calls his own. It's known as the Black Watch, commissioned by the throne. Strolling down the Falls Road with riot guns and gas, terrorising women as they're coming out to mass. A shower of Scottish traitors we never will forget. Thank God we know the Irish aren't beaten yet. The soldiers come from Scotland, a place you all know well. The hardest parts of Glasgow, the tiny boys did well. They're given a British uniform, they're given a British gun. They join the fucking army just to have themselves some fun. Strolling down the Falls Road with riot guns and gas, terrorising women as they're coming out to mass. A shower of Scottish traitors we never will forget. Thank God we know the Irish aren't beaten yet. When I get married, I'll have a little son. I'll tell him about the regiment and the fucking things they done. But when he gets older, becomes a man like me,
said a liar and free. Strolling down the Falls Road with riot guns and gas, terrorising mum and as they're coming out en masse. As sure as God is traitors, we never will forget. Thank God we know the Irish are unbeaten yet. Strolling down the Falls Road with riot guns and gas, terrorising mum and as they're coming out en masse. As sure as God is traitors, we never will forget. Thank God we know the Irish are unbeaten yet. Thank God we know the Irish to shoot the bastard dead.
We're on the top of the league looking and on the Rangers, and the only explanation I can find is the form we have found since Sanchez been around, that has put us at the top of the league. We're on the top of the league looking down on the Rangers, and the only explanation I can find is the form we have found since Sanchez been around, that has put us at the top of the league. We're on the top of the league looking down on the Rangers, and the only explanation I can find is the form we have found since Sanchez been around, that has put us at the top of the league. Let's hear you! We're on the is a form we have found since Sanchez been around, that has put us at the top of the league. We're on the top of the league looking down on the Rangers, and the only explanation I can find is a form we have found since Sanchez been around, that has put us at the top of the league. They were sitting at the top of the league. God bless Big Ange.
God bless Big Ange indeed. What a lucky man he is. What a lucky... No, the lucky ones are us. We're the lucky ones to have that man at our clubs who are. But that was just a wee dig there. So it was at Mick Beale who says Ange, he's a very lucky man. I wish I had his money. So do I, Mick. But unfortunately you will never have Ange's money, or never have a support like we do. That Mankey group of people you have called supporters at your Mankey club. So stick that in your big bloody thing that's hanging out of your face and smoke it. Marty says, let's see, 1 second. Elaine's son is marrying a wee cream bun. God love her. I haven't been giving her any stick at all. Elaine, what's going on there? Like, Jesus. Marty, and I wouldn't be for waiting people up at all. So listen, if you're watching the show today, Natalie, you're very, very welcome. This is an all-inclusive show. We welcome all sorts of bloody pastries, cream buns, bloody tarts, whatever. So you're welcome to watch the show today. So thank you very much. I'm going to lock Elaine's son getting for what he's getting himself in for. Oh, got me joking there. Son of Ours looking for Flag of the Fainted by Liam Lappin. Let's see. Derek Delaney says, any song from the GOAT, please, Ro. Graham Keaton. Let's see. Ro, can you give my son Tag a shout out? His team won their league last week. So well done, Tag. If you're watching today, congratulations to you and all the lads for winning your league last week. Well done. Happy days. Congrats and all that there. Play Wolftones. Dirty, you can't come into the show with about 20 minutes left and start demanding songs. I mean, you already got your song for the day. So you did. I'm only slagging you. I'll try and fit a Wolftones one in before the end, but I can't promise, right? So I can't. I will see what I can do. But Derek says, when you play a song from the GOAT, I'm assuming you mean this guy here. But I love this wee tune from the GOAT himself. Here we go.
of the children in the war. And the lords of mass destruction rub their hands and call for more. And a never-ending line of murders plan to seat inside their heads. And they take the place in the line of war for which they have been bred. And the dogs of war, and the dogs of war are gone. Oh, what the good Lord tried to give us, our laws will try and take. Like a family cursed and beaten at their only daughter's wake. And the words of mass collusion take the place of liberty, and blind the eyes of the learned men so the nation cannot see. And the dogs of war, and the dogs of war are gone. And on, 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 and on. Of Cregan, the Bogside and the Falls, their cancer-ridden henchmen are waiting on the call. And the streets run red with the working blood as they have done before. But we cannot call on the learned men, for they can see no more. And the dogs of war, and the dogs of war are gone. Face of a nation and a people born to weep, as 14 unknown victims they lay butchered on the street. And the gentle sound of leather rebounding off of beats is a far cry from the rules they play to the murder on the streets. The dogs of war, the dogs of war are gone and on, on and on. Dogs of War.
There you go, folks. That is the Dogs of War from the man himself, there, Gary Oak. So we're going to finish up the show here today for you, folks. So again, thank you very much. It's been a great show again, and just thanks for your sort of all understanding. Obviously, what the news sort of broke earlier on about the show finishing at the end of the year. And I just have to say it's a hard decision to make, but probably an easy decision as well. It's more or less to say is like I think the show has definitely run its course, folks, and it's done what it needed to do. It's got the stories out there that were meant to be sort of told by, and obviously the numbers have sort of dropped sort of year on year. And I mean, there's still been a big sort of interest there in it every year that wanted to watch it. Still sort of a core group of all users to watch it every show's on, and I really, really do appreciate that there. But as I said, I just think for me, the time is just tend to put it in its box and go, right, there you go, cheerio. That was good. We've done that there, but that part of the big row part of my life is sadly gone. So we're going to finish up here with a bottle of Georgian Pop, folks. Today is their anniversary, so it is, as far as I know, there is a memorial happening in the Cregan or down the bog. Say today is it where they're down in the memorial garden in the bog. So we'll do it there. We're going to play, of course, Great Kelly's Men. Their version of Georgian Pop is the one I always sort of go to when I play it. Most Rebel gigs I do, it's one of the most requested songs, so it is Georgian Pop as well. So we're going to do this here to finish up today's show, folks. Again, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who's donated some money today. You're all legends. Thank you. If you still want to throw a few quid in towards the coffers, you can. The wee links are there. Just send it through on PayPal or Revolut. All donations are greatly appreciated. So anybody else, I'll see you all in Shannon next week. So if anybody's going, let us know. And beforehand, we'll sort of definitely arrange to go meet up. But we're going to be leaving probably pretty sharply, Shannon. So I want to get down and get sorted out and actually go and find somewhere to watch the match. And then we're going to head to the Wolf Tone for the Clover gig next Saturday night. So really looking forward to it, folks. Again, thank you very much. Cheers to Tony Coleman, to Tony Whitelaw, and the Keith Corcoran for coming on for the guest today for our wee Celtic chat. It was good crack. So also cheers to you lads, and cheers for everyone who's put in any comments today, requested songs or anything. All much appreciated. So this is your very, very last song of the day, folks. This is Kelly's Men with the ballad of George and Pop on the lads' anniversary this afternoon, 28th of May.
On the slopes of the Craigan, one morning in May, 4 lads left their base with hearts young and gay.
Their cause was for freedom, a cause long denied, and the foreign oppressor they went to defy.
While patrolling our streets, they met with the foe. With the guns at the ready, our lads had to go. So we raised up our hands and we'll curse that British land who torment the very hearts of men who dare to cross their paths. But my heart is broken too. Won't you tell me what to do? They couldn't stop our George and Pop. They'll not stop me and you. For the police, it went silent when the shooting died down. 2 young lads lay there dead on the streets of our town. Just another 2 lives lost for the ongoing fight. And in Derry we mourn on that faithful night. So we raise up our hands and we curse that British land who torment the very hearts of men who dare to cross their path. But my heart is broken too. Oh, won't you tell me what to do? They couldn't stop our George and Pop, and they'll not stop me and you. Georgie and Paul, they like cold as stone. They're fighting for Derry, their own native home. So we'll always remember, and don't you ever forget, they're fighting for Derry, and we all the men. Let's hear ya! So we will. We dare to cross their paths, but my heart is broken too. Won't you tell me what to do? They couldn't stop our joy do not stop me and you. So we will lift up our hands and we'll curse the British land who torment the very hearts of men who dare to cross their paths. But my heart is broken too. Oh, won't you tell me what to do? They couldn't stop our Georgian pop, and do not stop me and you. Thank you. Taffy Alligator winds are slow Her tender rannikum Baby's face hair Chanting a shinshir pasta Ni akbar pantira nokpental And got my Sabarnohel The Gannerkel On Bosno Sill The Gunner's grave The Labot Nabile Charlotte Canning Around Navin. Thanks very much, good night, God bless you all.
You've been listening to Rebel podcast of Rory Carson. To listen to this and past episodes again, and to also check out future episodes, keep an eye on our official SoundCloud page. We're also available on all social media outlets. Just search Rebel podcast. Bhí sé bhgéisteach an sin leis an fád cruúlaí Rebel le Rory McCarson. Le héisteach le seo agus hir hagran a ríis, agus na hagran atá le teach, caisúil ar síl oifigiúil sugin ar SoundCloud, agus táid ar fáil ar gach cinneal ardan ar na main thuirseachta. Ní mór ditch ach fád cruúlaí Rebel a curda.